expend more energy doing that. All right. Okay, let's do maybe 5 together. All right. Okay, when ready, it's going to be difficult to sync it up with the speed, but let's target 5. Okay, ready? Hands in front, legs out, legs in, jump. Okay, hands in front, legs out, legs in, stand, jump. Okay, hands in front, legs out, legs in, stand, jump. 2 more to go. Yep, hands in front, out, in, jump. Hands in front, legs out, legs in, stand, jump. Yep. That should have you up and running for a Sunday, I would assume.
That's fantastic, Ahmed. I had a session with you yesterday and I thought it might be harder, but I was able to do it.
I'm glad.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And
can I also say, Ahmed, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
It was very enjoyable. Do you do sessions only for girls?
Anybody?
I might join in the next time.
Not a problem. Yeah. We just finished one boys session, but hopefully they'll all be starting again in a short bit.
Okay.
So I will let Satya know when that's up and running.
Cool.
I'm more than happy for you to join in.
Cool.
Ahmed, we're going to take some questions and then you can
Sure.
finish by saying what you wanted to say.
No, absolutely fine. Yeah, more than happy to answer any questions. Yeah.
This is a question from Rupa, who's the one who introduced you to me.
Oh, yeah.
And excellent session, Ahmed. And how do you motivate to keep it going on for life?
It's a very simple thing. It's always difficult when you get started, but then you just have to see the positives, see what's the sort of benefit it brings on. And then after a point of time, it's like, do we overthink for showering and brushing ourselves every day morning? Not really. Yep. The same thing, whatever works out for you, a 20-minute, 30-minute, 1-hour workout, just have to get into the practice of seeing what the benefits are, finding the time initially, and then it gets onto your routine. And then it's like, eat, sleep, exercise sort of a thing. It's just getting used to it and understanding the benefits and realizing it. Yeah.
I'm seeing any more question. Many have said it is a fantastic, I think Prem has mentioned it is really a great session.
My pleasure.
And, so I think, as I said before I get any more questions, I just wanted to say, it's by doing these things, and of course you will give advice to people who do fasting and healthy management of their lifestyle with food as well, so that they can get best of both, doing
Absolutely.
exercise and also keeping your healthy lifestyle through food habits.
Absolutely.
And so I'm sure many would contact you on
More
that
than happy.
account as well, so that we'll be able to give them all the right things.
Sure.
And again, I have to say, very positive thing, we all love to do certain things, then, sometimes the workouts but I like to run or cycle or climb. But I think by doing sessions like this actually improves what
The
you
other
could
activities.
do, what you like,
It'll
help us.
It'll help my golf, my bad golf.
No, the very reason I started about 6 years ago into this whole exercise thing was I play competitive cricket and badminton. And with age, it was difficult to catch up with the youngsters. And the way I could compensate that was strengthening myself. All right. So that was my first venture into fitness to support my sports activities.
Yeah.
And then once you get in there, the performance is directly it's directly, tangible to what you put in at the gym. So that's how it kept me going. And then finally, it kind of, I understood that it's like a foundation core for everything that we do. And then the more we do, the more better it translates into results in other parts of life. Yeah. And that's one main thing.
And it reduces, as we get older, it reduces the risk of injuries as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Anywhere from 30, 35, we do have muscle loss in terms of sarcopenia. And then every year, every 10 years, it just aggravates more and more. 40 and 50s, it's much more higher. So the earlier we get into the routine of strength training, at least you can prevent sarcopenia, or you can reduce the drastic impact of it. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think Vasu has mentioned as well. Thanks, Ahmed. It's a great session. So I'm sure
My
everybody
pleasure.
has been enjoying, and I think it's a great session. And
Thank you. Thank you all.
I don't know how many more minutes I have.
Yeah, it's time.
It's
I
time.
think it's time for me. Yep.
And do you want to say anything to the audience?
Yep, like, just keep up with your work. I mean, any activity like Satya mentioned, swimming, running, jogging, walking. First of all, keep up with that. And if possible, add strength training. That'll help you do better at whatever you love doing. And then another thing is, again, from a nutrition point, I don't want to make it complicated. Drink lots of water, sleep well. That should sort a huge amount of issues, anything that you have. Yep. Don't go into too much confusion of the combinations and everything. 2 simple tips: drink more water than what you currently drink, and sleep slightly more than what you currently sleep. That should fix a lot of things.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And
Thank you, guys.
thank all the audience who joined with us, and I thank James for giving me company. And definitely, please donate very generously to this charity. They are doing very great work and around the world. So please do. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Satya. And thank you, Ahmed, for such a wonderful session. Moving on to our next session. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in for this wonderful session about women's empowerment. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Hema Kanappan. I'm a consultant pediatrician in the NHS, vice president for Leicester Tamil Sangam, a caring mom, beautiful wife, and a loyal friend. So with me today to talk about inspiring women, I have 3 other guests with me. So I've got Raji Anand. Raji, you're there on screen? Can't hear you, Raji.
I have unmuted myself. Are you able to see me?
Super. Welcome,
Okay.
Raji.
Thank
Sandhya,
you.
you're here with us.
Yeah.
Hi, Sandhya. Good
Hi.
morning. And Rachna, you're here with us.
Yes. Hi. Namaste.
Hi. Beautiful, lovely ladies. I'm looking forward to the session with you. So to kickstart this session, I'm going to start with a beautiful quote by Serena Williams. So she says, every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. We are strongest when we cheer each other on. And I think that's exactly what we're here to today. So I'm going to start with Raji. So introducing Raji to you all. Raji is a busy GP in Yorkshire. She is a GP trainer. She is involved in a lot of education. She promotes physical fitness and well-being on social media. She is part of British Tamil Radio. And Raji, whenever I think of you, there's one thing that comes to my mind, a quote by Michelle Obama. There is no limit to what we as women can accomplish. So Raji, tell me, you are undoubtedly busy, aren't you? How do you take care of yourself? You maintain a very good physical health and mental health. How is it possible, Raji?
Thank you, Hema. That was such a lovely introduction. I think I would really like to follow on with what Ahmed actually was sharing as well. And I think it is very important that we women need to take care of ourselves, because we are all very busy. We are very busy in, as you said yourself, we are all caring mom. We take care of our family. We are caregivers. Innately, women are good in fostering, caring others. But it is so very vital that we care for ourselves, because only when we care for ourselves, we would be able to be there for our family, for our surroundings, and we will be able to make a difference. So I think I personally believe that it is so vital that physical and mental health are intertwined. And my medical profession says the same too. So I make sure that I have been involved in physical fitness. Running has been tremendously helpful. And I think the endorphin certainly helps to keep my mental health going. And I think it's a kind of a vicious cycle. It helps you mentally, and thereby physically, there is a lot of well-being to it. And thereby you're able to be more active, do more things. So I think it is that's what the connection is. And once you enjoy it, when you realize it, and I certainly could empathize with what Ahmed was saying there in the previous session, that is what, once that realization comes in, I think it certainly keeps you going. You don't want to let it go. So,
and you never put it off, isn't it? Every day there is a post from you, rain, sun, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think I have honestly got kind of addicted to it, because it's a sense of well-being. And I think it is so important in our busy day-to-day life. We don't lose out on, because movement is medicine. At the end of the day, the more you keep yourself going, I think the more we will be, as we grow older, grow healthier too.
How do you look after your mental health, Raji? This is physical fitness.
Yeah. Mental health, I would say I'm a person who is very philosophical. I only believe today is here and now. And so I don't take on stress at all. Honestly, I don't take on stress, because there's no point in stressing about things. Things will happen around you, and they are going to be happening. Today, pound value has crashed apparently even further. So there will be always events around us. And I was kind of worried to hear about what is happening in Leicester and how things are. There's so many things, political, social, within family life. Things will keep happening. And I think it's so important to be here and now. And I believe in blessings, and every day is a blessing. And it is so important not to take it for granted. Be mindful of what we have been given, appreciate the blessings that we have. And I think the more we believe in those kind of positivity, mentally you feel very relaxed, you feel well. And I think I would certainly emphasize, because physical health is what people see and what they can kind of see around you. But the mental health is what the spine of your physical health, I would say. That's the brain. And the physique is what it's able to lead on from there. So mentally, I think it's very, very important. Every day is a blessing, is what I believe in.
That's so true. So true. I see you as a very powerful woman, Raji, because, you are so inspiring. I've met you only once, and I've known you only for a very short period, but I've taken so much inspiration from you. So, you're such a wonderful person. In your book, what makes a woman empowered, Raji?
I think the most important aspect of a self-worth, you see, because when women perceive themselves to be able, and they are able to appreciate themselves, they're high in self-esteem, that is what is empowerment to me. There might be other things around you, but as long as you believe in yourself, you believe that you are capable, that is what is worth, and that is what is woman empowerment for me. And this is why I think from childhood I have been very inspired by a legendary poet who's called Bharadiyar, and I hope I can share about him, because he is a legend. He's a visionary beyond his times, and he was the one who actually believed women are capable, and that capability instilled what we would call as nimirda nannadayum, nerkonda parvayum. And that is what has, since childhood, I think that is inculcated in me. And I've been surrounded by women who I have kind of looked up to, starting from my mom to my school teachers, to college teachers, and my mother-in-law, and every one of them, I think they are very, very empowered in their way, because they believe in their self-worth. And that is how they have created a conducive atmosphere for themselves and brought about changes in others around them. So that to me is what women, when they believe in themselves, they make positive changes, positive choices, and that leads to positive outcomes. So self-reliance is all what it is about.
Oh, that's so true and so well said. I really like the quote of Bharati, but for the sake of our global audience, do you mind just repeating it again and translating it for me, please, Raji?
Sure, of course. Bharadiyar, just to give a little bit of background, was a freedom fighter. And he was there he unfortunately at the tender age of 32, he passed away. And his freedom fighter quotes and his poems have been so successful and to this day, it is kind of in Tamil poetry, it still stands apart. And he not only believed in the fighting for freedom for the nation, he believed in fighting for freedom for women. And Nimirda Nannadayam means a woman who looks straight, because women are meant to be, in those days, look down to the floor. And he said, look straight, look and believe in yourself. Nimirda Nannadayam nerkonda parvayum kavinmigal alagumna. When you look straight and believe in yourself and walk in a stride that takes you forward, that self-worth is what will take you forward, is what he believed in.
Oh, that's a beautiful one, and I've always set an example to that, isn't it? So you've got a teenage daughter, haven't you, Raji?
Yes, she's a great friend of mine.
Oh, that's so nice. What do you tell her, because you want the next generation of women to be empowered? What message do you have for the younger generation?
I think believe in oneself, because that is what is most important. The common thread, which I would say, which has helped people, women who have been legends, who have been iconic. Let it be Jane Austen, who wrote the great English novel at the age of 1700s. It was revolutionary. And if you look at, say, probably move across to Mother Teresa, who is a woman who was a blessing in disguise to all of us, who came and who kind of what humanity should look up to. That is what she is. And all these women, they believed in themselves. They explored their interests and they explored their passions. And I think that is what I would say to young women today. I think it is so important that you all have ample ability. You can all reach exalted heights, but believe in yourself and explore the interest, opportunities. And I would say women need to also seek supportive environment, because women cannot do it all by themselves. They need to create a conducive atmosphere for themselves. And for that, they need to make the right choices. When they make the right choices for themselves, they will be able to thrive and flourish in that environment. Seek good friends, good friendships, and also when you seek partners and so on, if successive choices that you make in your life will make you kind of thrive and flourish. And women can certainly reach exalted heights. But one thing I would certainly like to add on is women in their caregiving role, they need to also be aware they are not superheroes, because there is a lot of women that they try to do more than they can. And there is plenty of evidence that shows that, because women are meant to be good in multitasking, they are good in domestic chores. No, they are not. It is the same. It is equality that they need to believe in. And only when they believe it themselves will they be able to kind of spread the word around them. So it is important not to believe in it themselves, but to make that social change around them. And only when they do that, they will be able to reach their fullest potential. So be kind to yourself. Women are so good in caretaking of others. Please do take care of yourself too. So that is what I'll tell the younger generation. You are, or follow your dreams. Sky is the limit, but be kind to yourself too.
You know what? I'm going to take that advice on, Raji, because, sometimes you get into this role of, trying to be a superwoman, do it all yourself, and then you end up, not looking after yourself. So I think role, for teenagers, and definitely I'm going to take that on for myself. Thank you, Raji. That's a brilliant message. What, you have so many roles. You mentioned about multitasking. I've done very little justice by giving you a very brief introduction. Tell me about everything that you do. I've just given such a brief introduction. You doing so much. Curry Watchers, British Tamil Radio, YIBN. You've won a Parliament award. So tell me a couple of things about yourself, please.
I think women, or every woman here, I think we are all kind of, we've all achievers. And first and foremost, thank you, Hema. This kind of session is so important because I think we women need to appreciate ourselves. Women who are able to appreciate one another and motivate and encourage. I think that is what I believe in. So first and foremost, thank you for this session. And I'm not terribly good at talking about myself, but I can possibly say that I'm passionate about a lot of things. I believe in positivity. I believe in goodness. I believe in giving back to society because I am what I am, or we are what we are because other people have given to us. Let it be our parents, our teachers, and our partners. They're all giving to us. They're supporting us. And I believe in supporting each and everybody who is in my sphere in whatever way possible is what I believe in. And I'm very passionate about my mother tongue because I think that gives us a lot of grounding. And so that in what little ways I think we can kind of contribute. That is where the British Indian Tamil Radio comes in. And listen, I'm very passionate about teaching. That probably comes back from my parents, who are both teachers, professors. So and so give back. I think, and positivity. That probably kind of summarizes me, hopefully.
Thank you so much, Raji. Thank you. I'm going to move on to Sandhya now. Sandhya, thank you so much for coming. It's your daughter's birthday today. You have special plans and you've allocated the first hour of the day for us. So it's really, really special. Thank you so much, Sandhya.
Thank you, Hema. Thank you all, Rise team. It is wonderful, to start my day this way, really. I truly appreciate the honor you have given me to be here on this platform. I truly appreciate, and I was really listening to Raji. It was really wonderful knowing her and other panelists here. But thank you so much. This is a lovely opportunity. I'm really not a public speaker at all. I really put myself back. I keep doing stuff, but I don't want to come on the camera usually. But this is a lovely opportunity you have given me, and you are really pushing me hard. This is what it's making me go all the time. When people really encourage me, that keeps me going. And thank you.
You said you're not a public speaker, but you're a very good speaker, and all the public speak about you, Sandhya, for what you've done. I have you up here because I've seen you go through so many struggles, and it's a proud moment to see you as such a strong, inspiring woman, Sandhya. So for those of you who don't know Sandhya, she is a founder of India Island Academy, which is a very successful institute in the West Midlands area, teaching art, dance to kids. You even recently performed, the institute performed at the Commonwealth Games, didn't they? And,
yes.
It looks like and seems like a full-time job, but you've also got a full-time job as a data administrator working in the NHS. And right behind you is you featured in magazines, isn't it? In the cover magazine. So, you are an amazing woman. And, every time I think of you, Sandhya, Melinda Gates comes to me because she has said, a woman with voice is by definition a strong woman, but the search to find that voice can be remarkably difficult and different, isn't it? And I'm sure, Sandhya, strong women like you very rarely have an easy past. What are the greatest hurdles you have overcome, Sandhya?
Oh my goodness. That's, it takes me back into some years now. Yeah, it's not an easy one. Definitely. I had really a very hard past, which I didn't expect ever, because I have had a lovely husband, family, and I used to look up to him, but it did not really work well. I had to undergo acrimonious divorce at court in this country, and it was not easy, being single, having young children, and no family around. It's not easy. And
how old were the kids then, Sandhya?
9 and 12. So they were quite young to understand these things as well. And because it was hard for me myself, because I haven't seen in my family, my friends ever, so it was so different for me to take and digest and act on it. So every time I was looking forward to see that, okay, somewhere it ends, inner voice was coming in, just make, things may pause somewhere, but that didn't happen. And maybe in this country it's not easy to stop, unlike in India. So I had to take it. It was quite hard, but God's grace, my children were the greatest support for me. Though at that young age, the only motivation that gave me was to their upbringing in this country, being no family around, and in this Western culture, keeping them binded with our Indian roots. It was quite hard. So I just felt this is the only thing. Sometimes I believe in, say, until until there is no other, you become more and more strong when there is being strong is the only option you have. And that is what it happened. My children were the greatest strength. I just thought I wanted to give up my life some time back. Those thoughts were pushing me hard and hard, but my sister said, who will look after your children after you? You want to give, yeah, who will look after them? That one thing gave me the strength, the boost to keep going. I just said, no, I have to end this thought now, and because there's no one else to look after them. So that boosted my energy more and more, and I just kept working, went to the lawyers, court. I just did what all needed then, and thankfully I'm done with that. And I had an opportunity to work for the community with this business opportunity. I didn't have job nor home then, but things made me work towards it. And I believe in God. If he closes one door, he opens several doors. That is what it happened. Maybe one door for others, but for me, several doors he opened. And that's really, I thank God for that he gave me enough strength needed at that minute, and I kept going. So this business opportunity, while I was looking for jobs, this business opportunity has come, and I immediately said, no, I'm not a businesswoman at all. I look for jobs, but no knowledge in business. But the way it has flourished today, it's completely God's grace and people's support.
Your hard work.
Friends, and of course my children, who was the greatest strength for me all through. So I'm really blessed that way. So I've come this far. I have initiated this academy in 2016 to promote Indian arts. The only motive initially was to keep my children with Indian culture, keep them connected with Indian culture and roots, give them a bigger family when their immediate family is broken. So that was the main initiative, but now it has grown leaps and bounds. We started with 12 children and we have 300 plus now.
Wow.
We have free and paid services. So we do Bharatanatyam, Bollywood, Kathak, Carnatic vocals, Hindustani vocals, and Vedic classes, Bhagavad Gita, chess, and tuitions, what not you made. So it was all under one roof was the concept, to keep it reasonable rates so that everybody can afford. That was the main
initiative and motive to work towards this. But glad it's working well, and it has really created a great brand, at least in Birmingham. So I'm really happy we are getting good recognition, good stages to perform. So, many are getting associated with us. So I'm thankful.
Rupa is asking you, because you spoke about business, what do you think has been the challenges in your own business?
Too many challenges. Even till today, I haven't really overcome them all. I just had a passion to work, to promote Indian arts. That was the only passion I had. No funding, nothing at all. So that made me, I just called upon few friends I had who had similar interests. And my daughter, who was the first Bollywood tutor for my academy, along with her friend. So we started that way at that stage. So we just hired a school, and we started off with 6 students for Bollywood and 6 for yoga. These were the 2 activities we started with. And then the interest started building up. The more the community started getting to know us. Oh, why don't you have this activity? My children are interested in this. Then we just kept going, kept adding the activities in, looking for tutors. This also actually helps women. We try to look for skilled women who want to really, follow their passion, their dreams, and earn a secondary income for the family. So we just started working that way. And these are the challenges. I can say that there is no proper structure. We started with no structure, and it has really come this far. So I just say that believe in yourself and have that passion to keep going. There is no proper income coming in, but the passion keeps me going, and the satisfaction it gives you at the end of the day, so many are benefiting out of it. So I just say, though the challenges keep coming in, just try to work on it, try to speak to someone, and take little solutions, and keep going one by one. You'll achieve great, really.
I work in Coventry, you know that, don't you, Sandhya? And
Yes.
Some of my white colleagues, who I work with, even they know about India Island Academy.
Oh my
So that's how. So they have not attended your academy. Their kids have not come in. So that's the reach you have. Like a team of women doing an inspiring job.
Yes.
It's like so amazing. And Priya has put a lovely message for you. Where she's actually said, Sandhya, I have known you for through such hard times, and you're such an example for breaking barriers and reaching the skies. And she has passed on her congratulations. A beautiful transition from a timid girl to such a confident entrepreneur, isn't it? And that summarizes everything about you, Sandhya.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Rupa. Thank you, Priya. Thank you so much.
You've got a daughter who's doing medicine. What advice do you give her? She's seen the hardships that you've gone through. What do you tell her? Message for the next generation.
Yeah, I just say that believe in yourself. If you don't get an opportunity, create an opportunity for yourself. And you do good to others, good comes around you. So never lose hope, never lose faith. Have that confidence and move on. Opportunities do come.
That's so true, Sandhya. That is, yes, of course, that's such a good message. Is there anything you want to share, anything in your journey that did not make you stop? There would have been days where you would have felt, I really want to give up now.
A lot, many times. It's not once or twice, even till recent, I can say. It's so hard to keep this going. Truly.
I want to ask that superwoman concept. Raji was saying, you don't necessarily have to be a superwoman, but from knowing you, you cook at home, you go to the academy, you do your job, you have so many roles. Have you ever felt that, your health and your physical, mental health has taken a backseat, trying to be a superwoman?
It did. Yesterday I was telling my team, I will break down this way. I need some help. I need it because we have so many things going on, like, not just running an academy, looking into every other activity, around 20 activities we have on board. looking into, even just take up one activity, we have different levels in it now. So it's so hard to keep up with teachers, parents, students, their requirements, stage performances, liaising with the organizers, working for the development of that activity, and looking forward for so many things. It is quite hard, quite challenging, and it really keeps me going sometimes, but sometimes I feel, no, I have done enough. I can't take it anymore. And my children come there into picture. He said, Mama, this phase will go. It's so hard when I just say that I want to give up. They say, you have come past, you will make this happen. And that really boosts my energy more. Yes, I know that we have really gone past several hard struggles. We'll come past this as well. So that keeps me going. So it's mutual, they help me, I help them. And, a few friends I have whom I speak to, and they give me the confidence to keep going. And I have a lovely team around who are working alongside. They too have their job, family, and they're still working towards it, because we have the common goal of helping the community, serving them. So that's what it's making us go further.
And you've done so many fun activities with us, isn't it? Like
Women's
Day, we've had the Bengali team, and then we've had so many different. So, it's always nice.
Yeah,
I look forward to talking to you, working with you, and, you're just an amazing friend, Sandhya.
Blessing, I treat Odby as my Maika, my mother's house. I still treat it the same, that warmth I get there. So thank you all for being such a big support. In this country, we need that support from each other. And thank you so much for that.
You deserve all that. And you're such an amazing person.
Thank you. Thank you, Hema.
Stay tuned in, Sandhya. I've got Rachna is there, isn't it? Another amazing superwoman. Morning, Rachna.
Hi, Emma. Good morning. How are you?
You okay?
Yeah. Good. Thank you. I would like to congratulate you and the RISE Foundation for organizing such a wonderful webinar. This is third year, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. It's absolute pleasure and honor to be a part of this webinar. So you're doing a great job. Just keep it up.
Thank you, Rachna. And it's a team effort, and of course, speakers and guests like you make it even more a success. So we should be thanking you for your time, your effort. So thank you from all of us here.
Yeah, it's absolute pleasure, and it's so good to see Raji and Sandhya as well. They are so inspirational women. It's really it's really great pleasure, to be fair.
I mean, for some of they may not know you. For those who don't know you, Rachna,
yeah,
lady with so many roles, isn't it? You're a physiotherapist in the NHS. You are, and I came to know you as a key person for Save a Day charity in Leicester. You've won awards and you juggle various roles, isn't it? Because what do you do? Apart from what I've said, you take care of young children. You've got really young children and you are working full time. You teach Bollywood dance. You're learning Kathak. You're learning to sing. You're doing Save a Day charity. I think I need to pause here just by saying these things. How do you do all this, Rachna?
Yeah, so as you said, I have gorgeous 2 young children, and I look after my family because that's my priority. I work as a first contact physiotherapist. I love my job. That's my profession. I'm passionate about dancing, singing. I'm learning Kathak. I teach Bollywood because that's my passion. It keeps me physically fit as well. And I am a volunteer for this charity Seva Day. And I would say it comes as a second nature for me because I grew up watching my parents doing lots of social activities, helping people, helping needy people day in and day out. And that's how I got it in myself. I think you, especially being a woman, you're in such a good position to set an example for your family, for your children, and you should take that opportunity. And I come across a lot of people who ask me the same question. They say, oh, you got young children, and how do you manage everything? How do you take out work time for the charity Save Our Day as well? And I would say that people who want to do things, who want to help, who want to volunteer, but they are waiting for their children to grow up so that they will have some time on their hands, or for their retirement from the job so that they can have enough time. Please don't do that. Please don't put it off, because this is the best time to do it. When I do this, we do a lot of activities with Save Our Day, and one of it is food collection and sharing the food with people who are struggling. So when my children see what I'm doing, and they are learning a lot. They are learning that poverty exists, yes, not only in developing countries or third world, it exists in countries like UK as well. And they know that we are, fortunate to have a roof on our head, food on our table. So we should learn, we should share, and we should help others. And that makes a lot of difference. It doesn't have to be anything big. It's just a small activities, small acts of kindness that makes a huge difference, a huge positive impact on other people in the community. And it's I would say that's the best way to influence your new generation, your young generation. And as I said, being a woman, you're in a very good, advantageous position to do that. So yes, you should definitely do it.
Rachna, Rupa has asked a very interesting question. Do you believe in the concept of multitasking?
Well, I'm a woman. I'm a woman, and I think we are blessed with that ability to multitask. We can be in different places and doing different things, but no offense to men, and my husband especially, but I think I can be somewhere else, and I can still think of, oh, my son has this appointment, or my daughter is doing this, or I have this charity thing to do. Yeah, I think so. I definitely believe in multitasking. And I think you can still look after yourself. And what I do, I don't, when you were talking about mental health and physical health and striking a balance. So we do get busy in things, but if you enjoy what you do, then you don't have to take extra efforts to become physically fit or mentally fit. Like I enjoy dancing, right? So I get the physical fitness through the dancing. But when I do Save Our Day activities, when I help others, it gives me a tremendous mental peace. I go to sleep thinking that even if it's just a small gesture, a small thing, it makes me feel a lot better. I can sleep at night peacefully. And that helps me with my mental health. So you can put everything together. You can do things you enjoy, and you can still be physically fit, mentally fit.
Oh, that's very well put, Rachna. I mean, such a powerful, you have inspired my dad, my children, my husband, and me. All of us are part of Save Our Day charity now. So thank you for that. I'm going to ask you a very specific question. What would you like, what change would you like to see in women empowerment? Would you like to see a change? And if so, what would you like to see?
Women empowerment is a vast topic. I would like to stick to the basics, as Raji said and Sandha mentioned as well, that women should feel confident. They should get equal opportunities as men, because they can perform anything equally as good as men. I don't believe in competition. I don't believe in proving ourselves better than anyone or better than men. It is about the equal opportunities. And for the same thing the men are doing, we shouldn't need to struggle. So the basic thing is the outlook of the society, the mindset. We need to change the mindset. We need to, people should think in a way that the women can take important decisions. They can stick to it. They can act on it. There are changes I can see. We are no longer in an era where the women were not allowed to vote. And see different people, different women scientists building up space rockets. The women are, we have a UK Prime Minister, she's a woman. And even in India, I was going through the news and I saw that the Tata Motors, they have a dedicated women wing who assembles the Tata Safari Motors parts. And it's totally amazing. You can see that now that women are getting the opportunities and we are being empowered. So there are good changes, and we're still under process, I would say, because we still have to struggle. But if you stick to the basic things like being a woman, if you teach your children, if you set an example that, okay, if you have a boy and a girl, if you treat them equally, I think where it starts really from your family, isn't it? So these changes will take place, and if not but the next generation will definitely a lot better. I hope it answers the question.
Absolutely, it does. Because when we think of women's empowerment, there's, I think of the 5 pillars of women's empowerment. One is education, health, sense of security, financial strength, and emotional support. And I think, all the 3 of you have covered it so well, and each of you have spoken about it, are not under the same umbrella term. So I think you've answered that question so well, Rachna. I mean, if audience have any question for Rachna, you can start posting it here. While people are looking for questions for you, is there any message you want to give to the next generation?
I think Raji and Sandha, they already put it very beautifully about believing in yourself, be confident. Women are blessed with, as I said, multitasking, but we are quite resilient and we can draw strength from each other. We have to support each other and just be confident, believe in yourself, really. And it doesn't work in one way. It's a society and we are dependent on each other, so we have to support each other. The men come in as well. I mean, we can't leave the men. So we need to support each other. It's as I said, it's not a competition between men and women. It's helping each other, encouraging each other, and building a stronger society. I recently come across an article, very interesting research they did in Bangladesh, and what they found was effect of women empowerment on poverty. And they found that when women are financially independent and when it comes to spending money, women spend money more on buying healthy food as compared to men who would spend money on buying unhealthy food, alcohol, recreation. I'm like, oh, really? I found it really interesting. But yeah, we do think about all the aspects, health of our family, and it's really important, I would say.
That's such an interesting article. I'd love to read it. Please share that article in the chat box, Rachna.
Yeah.
And I really liked, how you said about men supporting us. And, that this point, I'd like to thank my dad, my husband, Balaji, and my boys, because, they are such a pillar of support for me. So thank you to all the men in my family and to all the others. Raji, are you still there, Raji? I have a question for you from Rupa.
Yes, sure.
So Rupa has asked, of course, she's known you from uni days, isn't it, MBBS? So she's known you as a timid, very shy girl in Madras Medical College. How this transformation to such a bold, brilliant, inspiring woman? What's changed in the path?
I think maybe it's the larva coming out of the cocoon to become a butterfly. But I certainly would say what Sandhya has suggested as well and said so beautifully. And the way you thanked your family, the men in your family, I would thank the men in my family too. I think as for every girl, her dad is her first hero. So my dad, who's always been very, very supportive, and but I would really say even my parents say they can't recognize me, to be honest. And I empathize with what Rupa is saying. And I would certainly give most of that credit, or the greater part of the credit to Errol, because I think he is a person who's been, and I certainly believe the quote goes on, behind every man there is a successful woman. I would say it's vice versa as well. Every woman, there is so many men who are there behind them, supporting them, and kind of nurturing them. In fact, I would say it is equal. That is why I emphasize in my speech as well. I would say to my daughter, choose a supporting environment, because women can thrive and they have the innate ability. But the only way they can thrive and flourish is if they have the conducive environment. And for me, I would say that's what it is. Honestly, I didn't know this was, when I look back, I can't see myself as what I was to now. And so I can understand what Rupa is saying. But I think that's all because of the environment we live in, and who we are with, and how they are influencing and supporting us.
That's such an amazing journey. And, even for the young, shy, timid teenagers, they don't have to think that they're always going to be that shy person. You can flourish and you can blossom into who you want to be. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
think,
you. And
Rashna,
thank you, Rupa.
You've got a little presentation on Seva Day charity for us, haven't you, Rashna?
Yes. I would like to share some highlights about what we do as a charity in Seva Day. I am a volunteer for Seva Day for last few years. And as Hema said, her whole family, they come and support us. A lot of people from Rise Foundation and a lot of our community come and help us. It's really amazing. It's really heartwarming to see so much of support. And people, they're really keen to help. But some people, they don't know how to start, where to start. So I would like to share a brief presentation about what we do. So if you want to, join, you will have a starting point somewhere. Can I have?
I think the team in the office have your presentation. Kavi, please, can you play it for us, please? Thank you. And audience, if you have any questions, please post it in the chat box. And please donate generously for a very good cause. And you've all supported us so much. Keep the love, support coming, please. Thank you.
It's not come yet. Okay, so Seva Day, as I mentioned, I'm a volunteer of Seva Day. It's a UK-based charity. We are inspired by Hindu values. And the main inspiration comes from the term Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That means the whole world is one family. So, that I really like it, because if you consider the whole world is your family, and if your family, if somebody is struggling, what you do, you just go out and help them, isn't it? So that's how we should pursue it. And then it's about the small acts of kindness. You don't have to do anything big or grand. It's the small things which make a big difference in people's lives. Can I have a next slide, please? So we have, so the Seva Day is active for last 10 years, and we have different regions, about 30 throughout the UK. Leicester Seva Day is one of the regions. I'm currently leading Leicester Seva Day. We have volunteers from different age groups, right from your 5-year-old to 70-year-old, and from different backgrounds. So as I said, when my daughter sees me doing things for others, she gets inspired and she wants to do from this early age. We don't have any government funding, so it's purely volunteer led. Nobody gets paid, and most of us are working full time. So whenever we get time, we just put that time aside and do Seva Day work. We believe in helping everyone. Any caste, creed, race, religion, we don't see, we don't ask. If anybody needs help, then Seva Day is there. Next slide, please. So basically, there are three principles, basic principles, I would say. So we believe in relieving hardship, promoting the environment, and improve well-being by spreading joy. So as a part of relieving hardship, we started doing food project, because in the COVID pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs. And as I said, food poverty is there even in the countries like UK. So we started collecting food and donating it, I would say sharing it with different people, especially the school children, because there are a lot of children from deprived background. They get school meals during the term time, but during the half term, they struggle. Some of the children during the pandemic, they were coming to school with empty lunch boxes, which is very, very sad. And then that's when we started this food project. So we collect food from the community. Many superstores help us, and many organizations help us, and we make food parcels and deliver it to the schools. As a part of environment conservation, we have adopted a stretch of canal near Abbey Park in Leicester. So we go out on alternate Saturdays. We clean the towpath, do litter picking, cut back the vegetations, and keep it clean. Encourage people to have a walk there and connect with nature, have some fresh air and exercise. As a part of spreading joy, doing simple things like, we going out to the old age homes, spending some time with our senior citizens, that cheers them up. Then we have undertaken activities, and we recently got like 10,000 chocolates from John Lewis. So what we did, we got the school children involved. They made little envelopes, beautiful envelopes with paper, and put the chocolates in with nice messages. And we shared them with the key workers, the fire services, NHS. Can I have next slide, please?
I know we were distributing around Easter time as well, isn't it? Loads of chocolates to all the key workers.
Yeah, now here you can see the picture. You can see the young volunteers, and this is a head teacher in one of the pictures. The other picture, you can see the young children again, and some of the older ones putting the parcels together. So this is our food project. If you see the next slide. So this is the canal, which we go out and clean the towpath and cut the vegetations. Next slide, please. And this is the chocolates I was talking about. You can see the lovely envelopes the children made. This was during the Easter time. So yeah, we shared them with different organizations, and we really wanted to thank you for their hard work, especially during the pandemic. The NHS was working so hard, and then the fire services, police, they are working hard. So it just to spread some joy, really. So there are different ways to do seva, small acts of kindness. As I said, you can help your community, you can help the elderly, you can help with the food donations, you can help the environment by planting trees, keeping everything clean. And so there's a lot of things to do, really, and it doesn't need a lot of time. It's just an hour here and there, and that makes a lot of difference. So next slide, please. Can I have the next slide, please? Yeah, so this is about Seva Day. As I said, it's purely volunteer led. So we do struggle with funding, but these lovely people They help us with funding, with that, and first of all, their time, I would say, more than funding. They help us physically. They will donate food, and we can, that's how we sustain, we can help others. And we still need more volunteers. The more the merrier, the more the better. So if you would like to join, please do join. Can I have the next slide, please? So yeah, people, we get a lot of feedback from schools and from the people we help, and they are very, very grateful. Now they know that Seva Day is here to help. A lot of people will come forward asking if they can get help with food or any other necessities, and we do what we can within our capacity.
We've got 5 minutes before we close the session. So I think
Yes.
if anybody wants to ask, they can ask questions.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you. Sorry to
So
interrupt.
there are some pictures. The presentation is nearly finished anyway. So just to give you a flavor of what we do, these are some of the pictures. And I would really like to thank you all, and I would like you to be a part of, you don't have to be a part of Seva Day if you want to do something, but yes, we would be very, very, very happy if you join us to make a difference, to make a positive impact in others' lives. Thank you. If you want to contact, you can contact myself, you can contact Hema, or you can email us at lester@sevaday.org. Thank you.
And Lakshmi has asked in the chat box, Lakshmi is one of my friends. She wants to be part of Seva Day activities. So we'll add her to the WhatsApp group and she can be part of the amazing team.
Brilliant, brilliant. Yes, please.
So I think it's been, such an interesting session. I feel so energized and so inspired to go away and do more and to look after myself, my physical, mental health, and not to push myself too far. So thank you, amazing ladies, for joining us. And if there's anything else you would like to tell us before we conclude the session, then yes, please. And thank you to everyone who tuned in and listened. And please do generate, more charity funds for us. Thank you. Thanks, Raji. Thanks, Sandhya. Thanks, Rachna. Thank you. And I'm going to hand over for another very, very interesting session by Priya. And thank you, Aditi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. with this amazing webinar going on, we have now a very, very interesting session, and I'll do a quick introduction. First, let me tell you, my name is Aditi, and I'm a child psychiatrist, and therefore this particular session is very dear to my heart. We are going to all listen to Priya. Priya is Sivapriya Tirugnana Raja. She's only 22 and she's studying sociology at Sheffield Hallam University. Now, Priya has something very special to tell us today. We all hear about the effects of bullying. And as I think most of us are parents, we are very concerned as well about the possibility of bullying and what our children face in schools. Now, Priya is someone who has actually gone through this. So we're all ears to listen to your story, Priya. Over to you. So tell us a little more about you. I know you're in Sheffield Hallam University now doing sociology, but tell us a little more about you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be invited to an amazing course like this to talk about the hardships that I've gone through and things like that. Yeah, so I guess a bit about myself. Other than being a student, I'm the technical assistant for a online run community radio station called British Indian Tamil Radio. We're a bunch of volunteers anyway, so everyone has a full-time job, but they also do this in their free time, and myself included. And I am a huge music fan. I have a huge passion for music as well as history.
Fantastic. So do you actually create music? Do you play something, or do you produce music? Or
I don't play. I'm hoping to learn how to play the guitar and play drums.
Oh, wow.
I'm kind of starting to learn how to produce music, because I do want to go into the music industry, and that's something that I would want to do. I've had many inspirations music-wise, many bands that I follow currently that have inspired me to go.
Fantastic.
It's been within the last year that they've really inspired me to want to go into the music industry itself.
Oh, wow. We're all behind you. Coldplay, you're not the only band that's, have connections, or Kasabian from Leicester. We got another one coming up now, Priya, when your band gets ready. So, Priya, tell us, what made you choose this topic? Obviously, you have a personal experience. So take us back to when it all started.
I think my eczema started when I was about I think just after when I was 3 years old. It was obviously something new that we wasn't aware of. And I was always covered in bandages, unfortunately, due to the severity, because it was really, really bad when it first started. I have a few photos. So as you can see, this is like in younger photos, you can see I'm literally covered with bandages. My hair was always really short. It never grew because of how bad it was. And then when I went to India as well, like back in India first time 2003, and again I'm in bandages again because of the severity of how it was.
So you were actually physically hit by people in school?
It was never physical, but it was always, no one would want to hang out with me. I was never invited to birthday parties. I would never go out with friends because of it. And because of that, and also having many food allergies, it was 48 allergies to begin with. And then as I grew older, it got reduced bit by bit, and I still have food allergies, but it's not as much as when it first started. So because of all of that, no one really wanted me to come to birthday parties because they didn't want to have that burden, I guess, if anything happened.
Oh, that has been awful. So the bandages, they were for the allergy inflammations on your arms?
Oh no, that was for the eczema itself.
Okay.
So I think eczema was the first thing that I developed as a kid, and then it moved on to having asthma, then it moved on to having food allergies, because doctors say that, because they're like a family, so if you get one thing, you're most likely to get all of it, which was in my case, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is also not just about bullying. I think this is something lots of us here happen to be doctors. The actual effects of eczema are far-reaching, something like that, and on a child of that age, eczema and multiple allergies. So here you were all through primary school. No one caught you to the parties. People almost avoided you, thinking what they might give you. You might have some sort of allergic reaction.
Yeah, you could see like in their faces, because I couldn't help when it was itching. So I would like even in secondary school. So when I moved to secondary, no one understood what it was. So when I was, I guess, itching in class, people would have like a face of like, we want to avoid this person because if I touch or hug them, I'm gonna get it. So I always thought it was kind of like a contagious thing.
So you're almost like an untouchable.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Like I had maybe like a few friends in secondary school that were fine with me. They just liked my personality and they just saw me for who I am rather than what I had. So that was actually kind of nice, but it was only like a small circle of friends. It never kind of grew. And so I turned to sports. I want to say I think I was about 14 is when I turned to sports because it was something that I started to enjoy. And it was something that I could do and like take my mind off everything and to be, to keep physically fit as well. So I did all the sports in school. I did basketball, did rounders, football, did all of that in school. And then I used to go to a Tamil school on a Saturday morning where I learned Tamil. I still am learning Tamil from my mom, who's actually a Tamil teacher.
Wow.
And I learned Bharatanatyam. So I learned Bharatanatyam since I was 9, maybe 8 years old or 7 when I first started that Tamil school. And so I learned Bharatanatyam for a good couple of years. So I'd always come on a Saturday with like an injured ankle or a I don't know, injured shoulder, and they're like, "Oh, there's the athlete coming in."
Well, all in the course of cause of art, so that's fine. So I suppose those were factors that later on contributed to your resilience in getting through this horrendous experience all through your school life. I wanted to ask you, in secondary school, you said you had a few people who understood, who were your friends. How did you find the attitude of the teachers?
The teachers were absolutely fine. I never got anything bad from them. They were really supportive and really understanding of it and what I was going through. It was also, I guess, maybe because of the time, like, because this was like back in like, I started secondary school in 2012. So I think maybe around about that time, people didn't really know, unless you experienced it, people didn't really know what it was. They just saw, a condition that was visible and thought, okay, we need to avoid this person because if we maybe touch them or hug them, we're gonna get it. I felt like that was the kind of approach of it.
I wish, obviously this is only thinking back retrospectively, I wish someone had gone into your classroom and done a session on exactly what eczema is and the fact that it's not infective and you itch it because you can't help it and all of that. Just a bit of education because these were all students that they didn't really know, so it's not like they were particularly bad or annoying or something, but you went through all of that right through school, and despite the teachers being sympathetic, you still had that sort of treatment from the students.
Yeah.
So, but excellent that you went into sports, and because you went into team sports, in those teams, I suppose you didn't have that, being kept apart. Everyone, you played with everyone in the basketball team.
Yeah, I think they were all like a year younger than me when I was like, I would have been in year 9, they would have been in year 8. So I did sports for like 3 years in school. Yeah. And so they were all like a year younger, maybe 2 years younger. And so I never got anything from them. They were just saw me for how I was and just
they accepted you just as you are.
Yeah, and just like, took me along with the sports. I mean, I couldn't really play in like teams because of the age category and because of the year group, because it would be like school teams. So because I was the only one from my year group that would play, I wasn't able to go into the competitions, which was a bit unfortunate, but I can't really do much of that. But it was just like nice, just something where I had something for myself, I'd say, where I didn't have to worry about, showing it. Like, I think the first 2 years secondary school in PE, we'd had like we had like a PE jumper that we'd wear. So even in like the indoor sports and outdoor sports, I would constantly be wearing that because I was so
to hide your
conscious, to hide it. And everyone would ask me like, "Are you not hot? Are you not hot?" I'm like, "No, I'm not hot. I'm fine." Because I didn't want to take it off because of I was really self-conscious. But then slowly, I started to accept it myself because growing up, I was like, why do I have this? I don't want it. And I hid it pretty much all my life. And then when I grew older, I started to accept myself and be like, okay, something I have, I can't deal with it. Yes, it's visible, people are going to see it. So slowly, I started to stop wearing long sleeved clothing. Obviously I wear jeans and trousers, but do you know what I mean? Like I stopped wearing like long sleeve shirts or jumpers in like really warm weather. And I progressed, I want to say, into being able to wear short sleeved shirts and t-shirts, and my Bharanatyam costume was like short sleeve, there wasn't long sleeve.
Excellent.
I managed to accept myself, and that way being able to be like, this is what I have, it's visible. If you don't accept me, fair enough, move along. If you do, great, that's fine.
But you don't have to hide yourself or change yourself, just be who you are.
No, obviously it first took myself accepting this is what I have, I cannot control it, to be able to gain that confidence, to be like, okay, look, you have this, can't control it, but let's try something else. Let's be more confident with this.
Yeah, right. So until you got to that place, it's fascinating, Priya, because until you got to that place where with, growing up and maturity, you got that thing, I'm going to take control of this, and I'm not going to be defined by this skin condition. Until then, what was the effect of that ongoing everyday sort of you being shunned by people and sort of emotional bullying, I suppose, on you? How did it affect your life?
I was very isolated, I would say. I as I said, I never went out. I think it was college, final year of college. I was 19 years old, is when I actually started going out with friends and going out after college. That was the very first time I started going out with friends. Before that, I never did. I was always I was always at home. So I'd have school from like 8:30 to I think maybe 3:05, and then I'd have, I don't know, like math clinic. I was helping out a math clinic. I'd have like sports practice. I did photography at GCSE actually, so I was a photography ambassador, and I went to photography club, and obviously worked on my my pieces, and I worked on my photography work for my exams. So that's pretty much what I would do. I'd always spend I was there until maybe 5:30, 6 at school, just working on photography when it came to like GCSE time, because it was that exam was like in March, April time.
Okay.
And so
you almost threw yourself not just into studies, but into all the co-curricular activities that you liked. Excellent.
Yeah. So it was kind of a way where I wasn't isolated, but I was at the same time. I don't know, like kind of like that balance. And obviously I went to Tamil school on a Saturday, but even still, it was only like, I want to say one person, like our main person who actually runs it, him and his wife, I think another family friend of ours, and then one of my friends and her older sister. Those were the only people in the Tamil school itself that were fine with me having eczema. Were fine. They were okay with me. Everyone else, and they didn't show it, but you could tell realistically, you could tell like the way they were all with themselves and how they were with me. So you could really, really tell that. So yeah, even within Tamil school, I experienced it. I stopped at 16 because GCSE hit and everyone started leaving because of the exams and everything.
So even in a different school setting, you had some of that same kind of being an outcast, being treated as different. Right. And yet you threw yourself into all co-curricular activities, just kind of
just something, because obviously I was still, when you're 16, like even now, like I'm still finding out who I am. It's only within the
Yeah.
last year I found that I really like music. I have a passion for music. I didn't like music. I liked music, but it wasn't as much of as a passion that I have now.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, academically as well, I'm not academically smart. I don't get like straight A's. I've only gotten like
Alright.
1 A star in law at A level, but that's about it. But I mean, I've somehow managed to go past that. I went through some issues within school in year 11, within senior members of staff. I'm not going to go into that, but it did hinder GCSE, because obviously you know when you go through issues within school or wherever, it's going to affect you academically, let's be honest,
Absolutely.
So I was getting like really top grades to begin with. Then when that situation hit, my grades completely dropped. I kind of went off on a different, like a wrong path. Then the school knew me as this, really happy, good person. Then all of a sudden they see me as a different person.
So there was a big change.
Yeah, like big change in my character, and even the teachers were confused and even took notice, because everyone knew me at the school. All the teachers knew me. They knew who I was. They knew how I am. I'm this really good student. Like, I'm really friendly. I talk to everyone, and then all of a sudden I'm like acting out. I'm not talking to people, I'm not doing my homework.
My goodness.
And so people noticed that, that was a big change. And so if it wasn't for my sociology teacher, he was also my mentor at the school, he kind of reined me in and kind of said, look, you're going on a wrong path here. Let's get you back on track. Let's get these grades up. And he really helped me out throughout year 11. If it wasn't for him, I would have gone on a different path. And
so your mentor at school was the one who kind of at that point was there for you when
he was there throughout the whole thing, and he really guided me throughout year 11.
Right.
And I did pass GCSEs, but it wasn't like a good
mark, as good as you would have. What about at home? Your parents must have been going frantic with worry, their lovely happy daughter, and suddenly this change happened to her.
I mean, they were shocked as well, because my teacher, he was contacting my mom, and so he was like, what's going on? Like, my mom knew the situation and everything, so they were obviously a bit concerned, and they obviously talked to me and said, look, it's GCSEs, you're in year 11, you need to get your head down. This is just, it's going to happen this year, but your GCSEs, they're going to guide you and get you to where you want to be and get you to the next level. So we're here to support you. You've got your sociology teacher, he's going to support you in school. So because of that support that I had, it was very I don't want to say it was easier, because definitely wasn't, but it was kind of like a bit of a motivation to be like, okay, let's get my head down, let's get through this. I mean, the school had sixth form, I didn't stay. I did want to, but I didn't, because of the situation, and I unfortunately did not get the grades to stay there.
Okay.
So with everything of that, I sat down with my mom, and I think one of my aunt, and we kind of figured out, okay, what's the next step? Okay, sixth form's not an option. All right, let's go somewhere else. Let's find a college. So I was all throughout summer, I was trying to find a college, and I found one. I went to Cadbury College. Someone suggested that, and I was like, all right, yeah. I went, it's fine. I did science and law to begin with, but I didn't like science to begin with, so I switched to sociology, and so I retook the first year because of me changing subject at the end of the year. So I still did law, but I did sociology, I did criminology, and I also did graphics A level. So that's where all the creative,
the photography and all that.
So all of that kind of came in, because I thought at GCSE, right, that's it, I can't do photography. After this, I can't do it, because if I was to say at the sixth form at my school, sociology and photography clashed. And
I see.
I was in the choice of I had to pick one or the other. And I was so determined to do sociology at uni, I kind of, I went towards the sociology path.
Okay.
And
okay.
so, yeah, so
It's a pity, but maybe you can resume photography at some point. But you know what you've just described, Ria, you had that setback in year 11. Then you picked yourself up with the help of your mentor and support from your family, obviously, a very important thing. And then, because your grades didn't turn out to be enough to stay in sixth form, you kind of did what lots of us, a lot older adults find quite hard, is when there's a setback, you take a pause, you evaluate your situation, and then you look at your choices and you just move on. That's immense, and you were able to do that. That's actually amazing. And obviously, apart from your inner resilience and the support you got from your mentor and your family, it's remarkable. And not everybody can do that. And people just crumble at that sort of situation, thinking, oh well, I didn't get into sixth form, I can't do anything at all, and just kind of drop out of education. That happens so often. I'm sure other people here, the listeners here, have met people to whom that has happened.
yeah,
So absolutely remarkable. And this whole experience of right through school, and looks like, even though it got worse in year 11, whatever happened in year 11, but it was kind of like that. All of your school life was like that. So it's almost like now you're strong, you're stronger for it. It's made you tough from within. And what advice would you have for other people who, because of no fault of their own, for things like skin conditions or whatever, are treated like this in school or college? What would be your advice for them?
I'd definitely say having a really good support system is the main thing. Having those around you that really accept you and support you. Like my family itself, like my dad's giving me financial support throughout life. My mom's giving me that emotional support, that kind of motivational support. My brother's been there. Siblings, we fight, we act out. Sibling, you know how it is with siblings. But also, sometimes it's not always within your family that you will get that support. It was always people from outside. My friends, definitely Dr. Raji Anand and Dr. Ilal Anand. Obviously, Raji Auntie, she spoke earlier today, but they both definitely gave me that support and still do to this day. I work alongside Little Uncle a lot, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have been able to, I guess, tell my story in a way. Because of the work that I did, I was able to, the radio work that I do, I was nominated, Dr. Ilala nominated me for the Yaya Awards back in November, which is Yorkshire's Asian Young Achievers Awards. And I was actually the winner in my category. It was in the media category. So I was actually the winner in that, and then also in the Inspiring Indian Women's Award in the Spirited Fighter, I was also winning my category for this, which is Spirited Fighter.
Fantastic.
And definitely
and inspire others by those awards, not just for kudos for you, but inspire other people. Absolutely.
But I'd say definitely having a support system is definitely important. Like, even if I know some people, families sometimes are not going to be that support system. I was fortunate enough to have that, but also, people outside of that, like, that's definitely a huge thing. I'd say have a passion for something, because I feel like when you don't have a passion for something, you question, what is your purpose in life, without having a purpose. I'd say music has definitely been, I want to say, my purpose. Has made me see that is my purpose. Again, all the bands that I follow, they're not, some of them are like, really well known, and some of them are really not. They're quite, up and coming, or they've been going at it for a few years now, but because they're independent, which is a lot of the advice that people do give, if you're going into the music industry, go independent, or have a really good lawyer to look over your contract. But some of these bands that I follow, they're not as well known, and they've been going at it for so many years. My favorite genre of music is rock and heavy metal. It's not the most diverse genre, rock and heavy metal. But it was, I want to say it's a community that I found within the last year that have really been supportive and really have accepted me, you know, like we range in different age categories. Majority of them live in the States, few of them live in Australia, so we live like all around the world. I mean, there's this platform called Discord. It's kind of like a exclusive platform, so if you're if you have the link for it, you're part of it. If you don't, or if you know it, you do, you don't, you know, you don't. But that's another support system. Like, you know, these people, you know, we've done like, you know, group video calls, we've done like book clubs in it, in different servers. You know, I run my own one, and so it's like fantastic. And so it's like, even though we all range, like we're all different ages, we you know, we all live in different countries, the fact that we love like this one artist or this one group has kind
brings
of
you together, it
brings us together into that community. And so I'd say always have a really good support system, whether it's online, whether it's in person, you know, and have a passion in life, you know. That is gonna help you have a purpose in life. And I want to say, like, I just want to end this, like, I know in life, you know, you're going to get told when you're 16, when you're 18, when you're 21, I mean, I'm 22 now, you know, you're supposed to have your life together. You're supposed to know what you want. You're not going to know what you want in life. Like, I'm 22, I'm having some stuff happen, but like, you know, I don't know what's going to happen when I'm like, you know, within the next 5 years, or when I'm 25. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I might not go into the music industry. Things are going to happen. So I think be able to allow yourself to accept the setbacks happen in life, and don't think this is all over, my life's over. Because I, you know, GCSE didn't work out for me. I, you know, didn't get the grades I wanted to stay at sixth form. A-level came around, I didn't even do the exams because COVID happened, and I was really set on going to King's College. Fortunately, that wasn't an option. I unfortunately didn't get the grades to get into King's, and so I went to Sheffield Hallam instead. And so even though I've had these setbacks, you know, I've been fortunate to find passion and had people in life. And definitely my cousin is definitely one of them. Her name's Petrina. She has definitely been a big influence in my life. We're like, I think, what, 4 years apart. And so she, you know, I'm not, I don't believe in God, I'm an atheist, but she's Christian, and even though we you know, we have different beliefs, we are able to talk about, you know, faith, and she's definitely spiritually helped me in that kind of journey. I'm still, you know, trying to figure out spiritually where I stand in everything. But she's definitely been a massive influence in my life. You know, she's constantly there for me, even though she lives in London, but she's constantly there for me. She's definitely helped me a lot. So even, I was gonna say, like, even though in life, you're gonna have setbacks, but you know, people are gonna say you need to have your life set out. You need to have a plan. Sometimes you're not gonna have a plan. You don't need a plan.
Doesn't always work out. You can plan, but it doesn't work out always. I'd
always say don't have a plan don't have a plan for the next 10 years, 5 years of life, because life is going to happen. Things are going to happen. You don't know what's coming around the corner. You know, I don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. Absolutely. So I'd say just go with the flow, have a small plan, have a passion in life, and have a really good support system. That's what I have to say, really. Fantastic. Great words of wisdom from someone whose age is 1/3 of most of ours, I would say. That's just so impressive, Priya. And I think from what you said, the bits that you highlighted, that you do get support in not just expected places like in your family and your friends and, you know, your friend from faith, from your own faith, but also unexpected places like, you know, online groups where people have the same passion. They had the same like. So all these diverse people living all over the world, but they're all united. You're part of the group because you all like the same sort of music. And that, I think, in now today's world where
we're just getting, not just because of the pandemic, but yeah, that has contributed. We're all living quite isolated lives. We're only connected online. How often do we see people? It's events like this that connect us, what we are in. So I think that is very, very useful, not to forget that huge resource. But all in all, I think absolutely you are an inspiration. And I am aware we've got just 2 minutes left. Any questions from the audience? I have one from Hema already. Thanks, Hema. I did note your question. Hema says, Priya, you went through a lot of bullying in school. As a pediatrician, I see teenagers coming in with overdose and suicide, but you didn't give up. Who or what was your motivation at that point when you were at your lowest?
Yeah, wow. Okay. Yeah, wow. This is the first I'm hearing that Hemanti actually sees kids that I've done. Sorry, that's really hard hitting, because I saw a statistic. I was watching a documentary yesterday. In the US, I think it was about 3,000 15 to 18-year-olds attempt suicide. If I remember off the top of my head correctly. But that's, wow. Okay. Who was my motivation? Definitely all the people that I have stated, my own family, my cousin Petrina, Dr. Ililanan, Dr. Rajan, and definitely, they all gave me that motivation to keep moving forward, and have shown me, okay, this is happening in life, we can fix something, we can do something, we can do something. What's next? We can do something to solve this. There's something out there, we can do it. This is not the end and be all of life.
Good.
Definitely having a really good support system. What was the motivation? I don't, honestly, I can't really say what it was. I know there are, I guess I'd always turn to music even now. I'd always turn to music. There are a few songs that I tend to listen to that kind of get me, I don't know, that
speak
kind
to
of,
you, that make rejuvenate you.
Even just within the words, or the way the song is written, it gives you kind of that motivation to get on with the day, or get on with life,
get through it. Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, thank you very much. That's excellent. And thank you for that very good question, Hema, because yes, we do encounter those sort of scenarios. And here we have a sterling example of someone who's gone through those same adverse conditions, and yet, emerged like a phoenix through the fire, just being reborn. Excellent. We wish you all the very best. I don't think we have time for any more questions, but that was absolutely an amazing session. Thank you very much, Priya, for agreeing to speak to us. And thank you, Hema, for asking me to interview, because I learned a lot too.
Thank you, Priya and Aditi.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you both for inviting me. It's an honor to be able to talk on this platform.
Yeah, and thanks to Rise for making this possible. Wish you all the very best. Priya, maybe we'll be hearing from you in your band at some point soon.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks everybody.
Again.
Hi, good morning, all of you. Thank you very much to all the audience who have come from all over the world to support Rice Foundation. Next topic is an interesting one. It's about pets, which Dr. James Francis is going to show. Before that, we just wanted to have a small break for 5-10 minutes to explain what Rice is doing. Rice is a dream of many of us who live in Leicester. And this is apart from our busy life schedule, busy professional work, we wanted to give back something to the community. Community in the sense, not just Leicester, not just the whole of UK, but for the whole world. The main idea came from the person sitting next to me, Dr. Subbu Ganeshan. Subbu was the one who motivated all of us, 11 of us, to come together and start this idea. We have got Subbu Ganeshan, the main person behind the idea. My name is Vasu. I'm one of the trustees. We have got Mr. Suresh Sitaraman. Suresh is our treasurer and a trustee. Gama is one of the main persons behind organizing all the paperworks, legalities behind this. And online, we have also got Dr. Prem Sundaram. Prem is the president of Rice Foundation, as well as we have got many other people in the panel. So let's start with, and we have also got Kavi, who is the brain behind Rice 24 and all the successes. So let's start with Subbu. Subbu, what motivated you to bring us all together to start this dream project?
Yeah, I mean, thank you also for that kind introduction. Actually, I would say the more than an idea, it's more of a team effort. Everyone, we were talking at some point, we need to do something for the needy. And I jumped in to give my experience. I was with another charity called Asha in Stoke. They were doing an amazing job there, sort of helping the local community and also throughout UK, and they were contributing a lot of money to the needy in India as well. That was a stepping stone for me, especially Priya. She was one of the trustees for Asha charity, and she was heavily involved for nearly sort of 12-13 years. Then I joined with their team. I was involved with them for 6-7 years, and I had a bit of experience. And I came in. I was with them throughout, and I came to know that what they were doing exactly, how they are generating the money, how they are organizing the charitable, the events. And it opened up in my mind, saying that why don't we do in Leicester? And yes, so I had a great team of friends like you, like-minded, and it's we are doing it today. So every pound it counts, and as long as the children who are in need, if they are happy, we are happy. Our family is happy. Everyone is happy.
I think that's where Subbu brought the motto, sharing is caring. At this point, we have to say, like, you are seeing few faces here, but there are lots of people behind. And as Subbu said, Priya is the main person motivating all of us. Rupa, the wife of our president, she is in charge for the environmental part of the site, to look after our ecology, environment side of things. There are loads of other people. Hema is the main person who has organized most of the events which brings women empowerment in the last 24 hours, looking at children and the workshop. So there are loads of people who have worked behind. We are just the faces, but the people who have worked are behind us. At this point, I'm going to bring President Prem in. Prem, what is the way we are going to take this forward in the near future, do you think? And how are you going to lead us in that?
Yeah, thank you, Vasu. And you put me in the spot. Thank you. So you all know that our motto is sharing is caring, and one of our goals is to improve the physical and mental health of the local community we live in. So you all know that we already have been doing various community education events like workshops, seminars, conferences, and we have done many. And then Vasu is the main person who gives us ideas. You know that we started something called Glenby Talks. That was the first event, and we had various topics we discussed. And we also had a event for the parents and the potential university students. where we talked about various how to get into uni, various courses we discussed. And then recently, for last 2 years, we have been conducting mini medical interview practice sessions. And this is for potential medical students. And Vasu has been organizing this, and most of the trustees and a lot of our friends have been given the time freely. And this year, we're going to have 4 more sessions, 4 half-day sessions. And this is a very, very, very low cost actually when compared to the other businesses around. This is a very, very, it's very cheap actually. And we also are able to give some free fee seats to children from inner city schools who are from the lower socioeconomic group. And moving forward, our aim is to continue doing this educational events, and the money we generate by donations like this RISE webinar, we want to use it for needy people. And as you all know that in UK, even though it's a first world country, there's quite a lot of poverty there. And we can use some of them to support the other charities in UK or other potentially needed projects here. And we also have helped some projects in India, something like Banyan, which is a project for mentally challenged women. So we are looking for all the opportunities to move our charity forward. As you all know, it's a registered charity. So we are working hard. And in spite of all of us being professionals in a busy schedule, we try to arrange trustee meetings and general body meetings, and we are trying to move forward. And we are open to suggestions. And if any of the audience have got any ideas, or if you want any charities you want us to support, and we are happy to help. Thank you.
Prem. Thank you. I think as Prem said, this is the point we advertise our course, the mini medical interview course, the MMI course, which has been hugely successful in the past. And we get candidates from all over the country. It's on November 5th and November 12th, organized by the full team of people who are volunteers. All the proceeds go to charity. Yeah, the main organizer, lead organizer is Kavi, who is sitting with us on another screen. So Kavi organizes this. And Kavi, how did you get the idea of RISE 24? Because RISE 24, the main brain is Kavi, and he got the idea, and we have been running it successfully for the last 3 years. The first year we got more than £3,000 and donated to us, our president said, to Banyan, a charity which looks after mentally needed women in India in poverty. So we have done a big job. The second time we generated another £1,500. We have given lots of money to other charities also, including school which needed children in Leicester, hospital where we reduce the waiting times for children who have been waiting in pain. But RISE 24 is a unique thing for RISE, where we have done 24-hour webinars. So Kavi, where did you get the idea and how did you lead us into this project, please?
Oh yeah, so thank you, Vasu. Thanks everyone. So basically, it's just we just discussed it, right? Because we were in a lockdown, the pandemic time. It's like it's a kind of a demand and supply. So everyone wanted to learn or spend time other than at home. So we thought we just come up with this idea, just have a conference, like a meeting, but instead of having a 1 or 2 hours, because everyone at home, so they can spend more time on the screen. And then we thought, okay, we'll do it at 24 hours. It was it's a benefit for both of them, like for the participants as well as us. We as a charity, we got money raised, more than 5,000 for last 2 years. And then it's just idea from everyone.
But it's a great innovative idea. I would say that I was looking at the internet and other social medias. I haven't come across such a sort of a non-stop webinar that is running for 24 hours with more than 30 different topics, covering all the wider areas, and also more than 45 speakers every time.
Yeah.
And it is, you have done it in a very, a regimental way, I would say. So how did you do that,
No, we're not done in it. I'm not done. It's all you see how many, like that's also supposed
yes,
everyone is
you're saying it's as everybody's saying, it's a team effort, and the participants and the panelists, everyone jumping on time. If you look at it, we didn't waste even a single minute of it. So it's like a military routine. One person goes out, the other person joins in without any break. We could be able to do it, and
while we talk on
helped
this,
us a lot on this.
I think Suresh is the person who has tight ropes on our finance. So how do you do that? Because I think when there are lots of people, there will be lots of controversies also. But we have not had a big controversy, and because we leave all the finance in the hands of Suresh, and he brings his entrepreneurship knowledge, the financial knowledge behind this. So how can you lead us with this, and how are you going to take this forward for us in future?
I said the technology helps us a lot. Coming to bookkeeping, everything is much simpler. So managing the finance, ours is just a startup and just a growing organization, and we are not generating millions, and we hope we will. To generate and give back to the community, and also managing the finance wise, we are okay at this stage. And as Dr. Prem said, we as a charity would invest our time and money on the local people, physically put our hands and help them and all.
Thank you. I think we are running out of time because we are waiting for the pets thing, but I want to ask last question to Gama. Gama is the main person who knows the technicalities of how to write a constitution, a membership forum, and how to put the proposals forward. And we have been successful in getting a charity registration. And we're going to take it forward to looking at getting benefits that we can pass on to the needed people. What are your aims, Gama, to take us as a group forward? And that will be the last question. I know people are waiting for the pet program. We will start very soon. Yes, Gama.
Thank you, Asu. I think one of the things that we have to look for as we go ahead is, because we are a charity, the way we operate is under public eye. We have to make sure that we work under the regulations and we are tight with our fiscal and our duties that we do. And it's really surprising at the number of people who we can actually help. And that's what takes us forward as we go along. But like I said, we just hold on. And my background from having worked in consultancies and currently working as a volunteer does help.
Thank you, Gama. Thank you. I think we are running short of time. We can keep talking of rice for the whole 24 hours, I know, but we'll stop here. But the main thing why we wanted this session is to motivate you. We have reached a target of £1,000 already, but we have raised our target. Each and every penny that you give, however small it is, goes to the needed people. There is a Just Giving link. Prem will be putting it on the chat section now. Please donate. Even if it is a small money, that will help. And we are all volunteers. We'll make sure that each and every penny goes to the needed people, and we will keep you updated. Thank you very much for all your support. I'm going to hand it over to James and Sweta for the next show, which will run for the next 15 minutes about the pets. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hi, Shweta and James. Please take over.
Sorry. We guys are a bit late and a bit slow on the uptake. Shweta, I'll let you lead on. Do you want to say something about your experiences of having Toby?
Yes. So if you didn't know, Toby is my pet cat, and I'm going to be saying why and how we decided to get him. So we decided to get a pet due to, I just felt like it was the right time because I was pretty lonely as I don't have any siblings. So we just thought it would be great. And next, we also just really wanted a nice little friend to come when you come back from work or school, just to have somebody to cuddle with you. So the different breeds of cats, there are many different breeds. So you can have a Siamese, a Chinchilla, a Persian, and there are many others. But we decided to get a British Shorthair. British Shorthairs are very lovely and are very, very lovable and kind. So, and also they are very, and they love to follow you around. So that's another great factor. And there were also many others, but we didn't want to get a very hard maintenance cat, because even though they are very low maintenance, you can have some that are shedding a lot or they just have a bad temper. So we got him from Pets for Homes, if anyone's looking to get a cat. They have very great pets. We immediately fell in love with Toby because the breeder said that he had a great personality and he was very, very lovable. So for me, a cat has really helped me. And I actually really wanted to get a dog, but we decided on a cat because, no, not to offend anyone, but dogs for me are very high maintenance to take care of. So that's why we decided to get a cat, because cats are very low maintenance. And also we decided to get a low shedding one because too much hair, but still he sheds way too much and all my clothes are filled with cat hair still. So it was a very different experience to have a cat because I've only grown up with fish. I haven't had any other pets, so it was a bit different. And I just got to say that your furniture will get ruined if you get a cat, because my chairs are really dying right now. So yes, but other than that, they are very kind, and always depends on how you bring up the cat. If you decide to let them do very bad things like licking the tap, scratching things, then they're obviously going to grow up as oh, I can do whatever I want. So you have to tame them to stop the wild beast from getting out of them. So I also want to show him. Toby, come say hi. This is Toby. Okay. He doesn't stay for long. Okay, you can go now. Bye-bye. So yes, for me, British Shorthairs are, they love to be around people, but they hate being picked up, as you can see right there. They absolutely do not like it due to their very fat their very fat genes. So yeah, that's one factor. But if you were to get a British Shorthair, they are a bit timid. I mean, a lot of cats are timid, but especially with Toby, he likes to hide. But I don't think any other people can see this, but I believe that cats have a lot of potential, and a lot of people judge them thinking, oh, they're just some wild beasts who just come to scratch you. They don't love you. But some people don't see the actual reality of having a cat. For example, when I first got a cat, I thought, cats scratch, they're not very nice, are they? But after I got him, I felt really that he was a really nice bundle of joy to have in the house. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, Shweta. Very lovely insight into having a pet. And I would just echo everything you've said.
Yes.
You have partly adopted my dog anyway. So
Yes.
I have been for a long time waiting to see you get your little dog, but then
yes,
you've gone for your cat.
Yeah.
And it's worked out well, but I'm sure that very shortly you'll be getting a dog.
Yes, I still need to convince, but I also want a dog.
So yeah, here we have. Let me try and see if I can show you my little monster is lying down there and chilling after his walk. So I've had to go out this morning because he needed his walk. So having a pet, gets you up and about. What pets love is they love their routines.
Yeah.
So as Shweta was saying, it's important to try and train them as best possible. Try and get some routines. Pets are huge. They're just another family member, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another family member. So anything you do, anything you're planning, you got to think about your pet.
Yeah.
And they like to take their, take a lot of advantages, and they're very manipulative.
Yeah.
So,
they find your soft points.
Exactly. So we we just didn't have enough preparation. I don't know if you can see these pictures.
Oh, yes.
I'm just going to show
Rocky.
some pictures of how this was when we went to first see Rocky.
Oh.
And then so the kids are just obsessed with
Yes.
and he was a real little very cute
Oh.
bundle of joy. He sheds just twice a year.
Okay.
First is from January to June, and then from July to December. So he sheds all the time.
Yeah.
But a huge presence, a great sense of they always look out for you, and
yes.
A huge source of comfort. When you feel a bit down, as that's him trying and hiding behind his. So there you go. That's one more. I don't know how Roshni had picked up this collection of so a huge source of comfort.
Yeah, I also have some pictures actually. So this is when we first got him.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he slowly started to get more comfortable. This is when he was very, very scared. As you can see, he was trying to meow for his mother. But then as the time went on, this is when my dad collected him. Sorry, the sun.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see that. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yep. And this was him first coming out.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was a very timid guy. He would hide behind the sofa. So that was a bit of a struggle. But this was maybe 1 week later. And as you can see, he got very comfortable in his new home. And if I scroll down, I can show some pictures of him lying down.
Can't see that clearly. No, just have to.
Yep.
Do you want to tell a little bit about his daily routine, about maintenance of having a cat, and what do you do when you travel?
So I would also like to say the maintenance of him. So with us, we like to travel a lot, and so we leave him at an area called a cattery. Catteries are just like dog kennels, but are made for cats. So for us, we leave him at a paw kennel, and the name is Paws. So it is filled with dogs, bless Toby, but he still gets along. And we recently went to India, and with that trip, when he came back, he was twice his size, and he did not look like he missed us. But then we got really scared because he forgot his own name. So when he forgot his own name, we were really scared, like, oh no, what if he hides and he doesn't come? But yes, but other than that, that's what we do.
What about his daily routine?
Oh yeah, his daily routine.
Management.
So with Toby, he's we have an indoor cat, so he doesn't really go outside much, but we do let him out in the garden. But so he's an indoor cat, like I said, and he mostly just roams around the house. His morning routine is to get up. Once he hears us, he starts meowing, gives us a lot of rubs, and then he comes down and he just loves us to bits. Then after 5 minutes or so, he will stop giving the rubs and we'll go have his zoomies, which when he goes, a burst of energy. So after that, he'll be really tired. Then we play with him for a bit. And then I have to clean out his litter, of course. And then after that, just him lying down, us carrying on with our work. So nothing really drastic in our lives, but yeah.
Excellent. Rocky, let me see if I can show him. Oops, give paw. Rocky.
Aww.
Come here. Come on. Do you want a little treaty? Come on. Come on. Sit down. So you're gonna sit down. Yeah. And yeah, you have a treat. High five.
Aww.
Give paw. You can't see. Give paw. Yeah, give paw.
Aww. He's such a good boy.
He's very well behaved most of the time.
Yes, most of the time.
Most of the time. Couple of pictures. This is, I don't know whether you can see that.
Aww.
Roshni with the Rocky in the snow.
Aww.
And again, more Roshni pictures.
Oh, very cute.
In the snow. That's a nice one. This one's a nice one.
Oh, he blends in with the snow very well, to be honest.
So it's really such a huge source of comfort.
Yeah.
So during times when Roshni is busy studying,
Yes.
he's there by her side, and there's Roshni with her books, and if anyone is even half thinking of getting a pet, whatever that be, it's got to be more than having just fish. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's got to be more than having fish or guinea pigs. So it should be more than having fish or guinea pigs. But having a pet is such a huge. But again, the thing is, when you have a pet, is to know that the pet is a pet. A cat is a cat. You can't treat the cat as a human being or a dog as a human being. So then it all goes to pot. So the whole key is that they like their routines. They need to be disciplined. They're like children. They're like they're like Shweta. So if if you're given too much space, then you think I can do anything. So that's the same with. But when the kids come and go away, and when Rocky is not around the house, you know where he'll be. He's up in their room, either sitting on the bed or lying by the bed, missing because he's missing the kids.
Yeah.
So a huge source of comfort and support, both for the adults and the children. So if anyone's thinking of having a pet, you should. It keeps you active. They keep you active. And obviously we need to be, like Shweta was saying, we need to be careful what we're feeding the pets. The same thing happened to us when we went away, just 2 weeks and then back, and Rocky was at pause, and Rocky, the pet we had before, Cookie, had gained so much weight, and we never managed to get him to lose that extra weight that he gained.
Toby's definitely lost that weight.
Good. You've done well there. Good. Any particular questions? I can't see if.
I think there's one. I think from Prem Uncle. It's hi James.
I think it's time.
Time up.
Okay. No worries.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to, you can contact Shweta or myself. Rice is doing a great job. So hats off to the Rice team, and thanks, Shweta.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
James, thank you very much. That was a very, very quick, nice talk, interesting talk. And hopefully many children will come back to you with more questions, and it will be very interesting. We're going to the next talk now. This is about how to set up a music band. So many of us would be like musicians, playing instruments, singers, but to make a team is the most difficult thing. And Shyam has been most successful with his Bollywood Therapy team. I visited Bollywood Therapy. I enjoyed their first gig more than 15 years ago when they performed in Birmingham CBSO Symphony Hall. And I was really impressed by the excellent professional show that made. Shyam is the Associate Medical Director of University Hospital of Coventry and Warwickshire, and a known very prominent person in pain specialty. He is going to talk on behalf of Bollywood Therapy, the band from Midlands, which has achieved huge heights, performing in various national shows. Even yesterday, they had a big gig with BAPIO meeting, and they have come back tired. And despite the tiredness, Shyam has agreed to share his experiences for our benefit. Thank you, Shyam. I'll hand over the stage to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vasu, and thank you, Rice Charity Foundation. I hope I am not too loud. I hope I am not too soft. My name is Shyam, as Vasu introduced, a bandmate from Bollywood Therapy, which was started about 15-16 years ago with a mission to save this world from mediocre music. So the discussion point I have been given is to tell about the different aspects of how to run a band. You may be a musician, you may not be a musician, Your children may be aspiring to play music, learn music, but there are some learning points, there are some interesting things which may be applicable to everyone. Ideally, I wanted our bandmates to do a real lifetime show, but because of the technicality, the sound and the video quality won't be nice. So I may be playing some videos here and there, and advance apology if there are any technical hitches. What I want to cover is what is a band, why we need a band, how to find the bandmates, how to name a band, finding a place to practice, then money matters, we know, how to perform, where to perform, then a little bit about sound mixing and engineering as much as possible in the next 50-55 minutes. Firstly, what is a band? There is a fundamental confusion. Many people say, for example, they will ask, Sham, can your orchestra come and perform? Um, some people ask, how is Bollywood therapy troupe? This is not troupe. This is not orchestra. A band is a band. The main difference between orchestra and the band is that an orchestra refers to a large group of musicians and instrumentalists who play music using different kind of instruments. Often there will be a conductor waving their stick in the front. That's totally different. A band is usually traditionally a small group of vocalists and musicians. Most bands have a drummer, a guitarist, a bass guitarist, a singer, but a band can be made up of anything: piano, synthesizer, sax, flute. There are some bands where there are no guitarists. So anything. The common mission is to produce good quality music. Now, why band? As far as Bollywood therapy is concerned, the brainchild of Prashant Hegde. Prashant Hegde is an anesthetist, is a very close friend of mine. It was his idea to form Bollywood therapy band because different bands have different missions. Many of the professional bands, it is for fame, it is for money, it is their dream. For us, it's more of having a productive fun, breaking the boring cycle. We earn, we pay off mortgage, we come home, pay the credit card bill, go to hospital, phone call, come home on call. So some point we need to break the cycle, do something different. Different people choose different. For example, Rice Foundation, you do charity work. Some people go for cycling, some people pick up games and sports. We chose to pick up music. Now, once you decide to form a band, now you need bandmate. That is the most important thing. How can you identify the bandmates? People who are in the band who do different things. The dull way of doing it is advertising in the poster, putting it in the university notice board. Can somebody play guitar? Sharing it in the social media, asking in the WhatsApp, can somebody play a bass guitar for us, or veena for us, or violin for us? But strictly speaking, band is more than that. It has to evolve. Bollywood therapy evolved. First, we met as friends, then we became bandmates. It is not about a bunch of talented musicians, it is about the right chemistry. Your bandmates don't have to be the best players. That will eventually happen. But you all have to get along well. Band members have a special bond. A great band is more than just some people working together. It's a unique combination of elements that becomes stronger and stronger together than apart. It is all about compensating for each other's weakness and fortifying our strengths. There need to be a similar vibe across the band. So pick your look, something common. That is the most important thing. Each bandmate have a different passion. It's not that we all have the same passion, not really. Everybody has a different passion. I will now introduce my bandmates and see how different passions actually meet in a common point. Dibakshi is a female vocalist, originally from West Bengal. Her passion is to break the language barriers. She does not sing, she actually performs. I am now going to try and share a little video.
Shyam, we can't hear the video.
In that case, Vasu, can you play from your end? Vasu, can you hear me?
Just give a minute. We are trying here.
No
Just a
problem.
minute.
Yeah. It is BT1. Yeah. Video 1 named Debakshi. Was in case if there are any technical issues, I have no problems just talking. We can play the video when it is ready to be played.
Shyam, you keep talking. We are trying to
Okay.
play. In 2 minutes, we'll play the videos. We'll come back to it, please. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. These are all technicalities. That is exactly the same reason we avoided doing it as a live video show because of the problems over the Zoom. Nevertheless, no, I can see there is a screen sharing. Okay, I will keep talking until the video plays, if it plays. Again, our bland leader Prashant used to say, don't sing at the audience, sing for the audience. Debakshi is a vocalist who can sing with the audience. She is capable of involving the people. We have many talented vocalists. For the sake of time constraints, I'm not mentioning about each and every one, and apologies if I unintentionally left the name of our bandmates. Okay, as we are still trying for the video, now comes to naming the band. How
we
to
will
choose?
Play it, Shyam. Just give a second. We are playing.
No problems. No problems. Thanks a lot.
இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் நேரம் இருந்தாதான் என்ன
Thanks a lot for playing that video on behalf of me. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. So that was Debakshi. Now we will quickly go to the band name. Now, once you decide you have identified enough people to start a band, you need to come with a very, very catchy name. Now that is the identity. Band name is the identity, and it should be very cool. It should be something unique. Interestingly, by tradition, especially in England, a band name and a pub can be anything interesting. For example, you have pubs called Parrot and Cat, Rabbit and Cat, Honest Lawyer. It can be anything. We chose, in fact, Prashant chose Bollywood Therapy. Bollywood because most of us belong to this ethnic background of Indian background, and therapy because most of us are from hospital background. We work in NHS. Now, I want to quickly introduce Binay Iskaria, Dr. Binay Iskaria. This is a male vocalist who has touched the heart of many people because he's a cardiologist in Birmingham. His passion is actually different. It is Hindustani, it is Carnatic, and he teaches. There is a series of video in YouTube called Learn to Sing. And interestingly, he learns. Incidentally, he is having a class today. He also continuously learns. And we will have a small clip of him singing, then we will continue. Can you please play? Okay, until we get the video ready, perhaps I will keep talking. Music notation. Now, some of the questions asked to us is when you are playing in the band, how you all can sing from the same hymn sheet. The honest answer is we don't sing from the same hymn sheet because we all read music differently. Before I continue, is there a plan to play the video, the second one from Binoy?
Give us a minute, Shyam.
Shall I keep talking in the meantime?
Yes, please keep talking. I'll get ready.
Yeah, so the hymn sheet. So in Bollywood Therapy, it's not the same hymn sheet. Why? Because all of us play with the different notations. Rajan Joseph, guitarist, he is more into Western. People, especially with the children who learn music, you can see that there are different notations for the music. So they read that type of music. Then there is a chromatic scale, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, where each and every note represent different frequency. Some use European, do, re, mi, fa. Interestingly, in Europe, each country has their own way. German has different way. Belgium has different way. My background is Carnatic because it all started with the harmonium. So it is all about Sari, Gama, Pada, Nisa. And interestingly, there are few people who cannot read music. They can just hear and they can perform. So literally every single music sheet in Bollywood Therapy will have a different format of notation, starting from Western notation, from Carnatic, Hindus. It's all different. And perhaps once we manage to play Binoy's second video, I would like to share a video of mine about how this Carnatic music has been used in the movies and how we use that in Bollywood Therapy. Any chance the video is ready now?
Let me give a try, Shyam.
This is video 2.
Is it playing?
No.
Okay, keep talking, Shyam. We will get it ready.
Okay, okay, I will wait for it. Yeah, please.
தலை சாய்க்க இடமாயில்லை, தலை கோத விரலாயில்லை, இளங்காற்று வரவாயில்லை, இளைப்பாறு பரவாயில்லை. நம்பிக்கையே நல்லது, இரும்புக்கும் வாழ்க்கையுள்ளது. அகரம் இப்போ சிகரம் மாச்சு, தகரம் இப்போ தங்கம் மாச்சு, காட்டு மூங்கில் பாட்டு பாடும் புல்லாங்குழலாச்சு. சங்கீதமே சந்நிதி, சந்தோஷம் சொல்லும் சங்கதி. அகரம் இப்போ சிகரம் ஆச்சு, தகரம் இப்போ தங்கம் ஆச்சு, காட்டு மூங்கில் பாட்டு பாடும் புல்லாங்குழலாச்சு.
Thank you, Vasu. I think it played from the middle, but it gives a taster of how his passion to Hindustani and Carnatic music is actually transforming into music, which fed into Bollywood therapy. Vasu, when we are in the same page, can we play the next video, please, the third one? Thank you, Vasu. Okay, for those people who have interest in Carnatic music, may recognize this as a kapi ragam. The reason I play this is it's an ocean. It's an ocean. We don't even know a minuscule of the ocean of Carnatic music. This is a ragam. In Western scale, there are major scales, there are minor scales, and it's all the pattern of playing the notes. And major scale gives a different expression, minor scale gives a different expression. But there are some ragas where there is a mix of major scale and minor scale. To give an example, in the English music, the James Bond theme music, it has a mix of major scale, minor scale. All of a sudden, when there were traditional major songs, minor songs, when the James Bond music came, it became very popular because of that mix. It touches the heart. And Kapi, the raga which I played, a sample, it's one such an example. So this sort of experimentations with the Carnatic music, that fascinates. So that is my passion. So I will slightly digress before introducing my other bandmates. Finding a place to practice. Now, this is very, very important. Initially, most of the times our jamming mainly happened in Prashant's house. I don't mind having this video ready, to be honest, rather than going through the technical challenges. Initially, it was all in Prashant's house. It was in his garage, then it was in the attic. And now, as the days progress, we have managed to have our own dedicated music room. Behind every successful musician, there will be a patient spouse. If you have a dedicated music room, the advantage is you come, you plug, you play. You don't have to waste much time. The downside is definitely the noise. In my previous house, when we vacated the house, the neighbors actually celebrated, and I hope it was just incidental. If you are practicing in a domestic area, in a popular street, please inform your neighbors that you are practicing and keep them happy. Otherwise, they may report to the council for the noise pollution. Alternatively, you can hire a community hall, school hall. It doesn't cost a lot, but the hassle of transporting all your instruments, it will be wasting time. There are some dedicated custom built practice rooms. You can pay, you go, say for example, there are such rooms in Birmingham, but it will cost money. So serious musicians who are much into studio recording, etc., they use such facilities. We are happy to practice at home. Wherever you practice, you have to maximize the effectiveness of the jamming session, because just now there was a question on how much time you spend, how frequently you meet. With a bunch of professionals performing, having 4 or 5 people in the music room, all the 9 planets should align. Very, very, very difficult. Invariably, somebody will be on call, or they need to take their children for some sort of extracurricular activity. So whenever we meet, which will be once every few weeks, we need to do the homework. Okay, the music room is not the time where you first meet and then listen to the song. It doesn't work that way. Often we used to say, think globally, act locally. So think about the band, but you do your homework. So you increase the effectiveness of the band practice. Time commitment is challenging. So a band needs a nagging band leader to schedule the rehearsals, to keep the group focused on the music during the practice time. Invariably, we will talk about the NHS challenges, the pension problems. So they need to bring us back to focus on the music. Very important. Band leader traditionally has more power, and everyone should listen to them. With more power comes more responsibility. But having said that, in Bollywood therapy, all the bandmates have equal say and equal power, because with no power comes irresponsibility. So people have passion, they want to encourage. So everybody have a say, but everybody have that dedication and involvement. So coming back to my bandmates, Siva is our drummer, orthopedic surgeon by background, but now he is a GP in Coventry. Percussion is our heartbeat. For any song, there should be a pillar. That pillar can either be the drumming or it can be the bass groove. Din, 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 din. That is a pillar. Okay. On top of that, you have to lay the road. We call it carpeting. That carpeting can be done either with a keyboard or with a piano or with the rhythm guitar. And then people start traveling. That is a vocalist. They blow the soul into the song. Jagadish, the gentleman you are seeing on the screen, he is an anesthetist, intensive care consultant. He is a valuable member of Bollywood therapy. So this is a video. Again, a disclaimer, no video will actually show the actual ambience, the actual emotions, the actual experience. It will only show 20-30% of what happened on the day, unless and until it is very professionally shot in the studio. But we will play this video. This is from Symphony Orchestra Hall, Bollywood therapy performed some years ago. Please, Vasu.
பாடல்கள் தீராது வெட்டட்டும் ஆட்டம் உண்டு. பாட்டும் உண்டு பாடல்கள் தீராது பாடாமல் போகாது நானும் பாடி போயாது மேகம் கொட்டட்டும் ஆட்டம் உண்டு.
Thanks for playing that, Vasu. Perhaps if we keep the next video ready. So once you decide to form a band, you have found your bandmates, you found a place to practice, you have a catchy name. Now the next question comes, what are you going to play? The style, okay? Now, most of us in Bollywood therapy are people in and around middle age, 50 plus or minus 5 years. Don't try to pretend to be somebody you are not, okay? So you need to have a unique style. Are you going to reproduce the same original track as originally scored by the music directors? Are you going to present your interpretation? Our guitarist, currently our guitarist is Dr. Rajan Joseph. He is a man with a vision because he's an ophthalmologist. He's a bandmate who is extremely particular about giving our interpretation of the song rather than photocopying and presenting the same song again. Or are you going to create music? Especially the younger members of in our band are very keen in actually creating music. Make sure you pick up a genre and perform it very well. Again, you have to choose it, choose the correct numbers, correct songs for the correct occasions. Say, for example, if you are invited to play in a wedding, we have been invited, don't go and play philosophical songs. I'm sure the couples will eventually learn philosophy in due course, but you don't go and play there. In case if they are inviting you for a Diwali festival, it has to be peppy, dancey members. Yesterday we were performing in a corporate festival. There it has to be light music. So you have to choose the genre depending upon the audience. And most important thing, don't ever pressurize the vocalist to sing something their heart is not in. The entire program will go flat. Okay, you need to, the song should come from the heart and perform what the audience like or present it in a way they like. There is a popular saying from the man called Fred Allen. The first time I sang in the church choir, 200 people changed their religion. So don't force something which people don't like and upset them. Instead, play for them. Vasu, can you play this video for us?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be our last number today, so try and join in with us if you can. All right then. Whatever you want to sing on this music. All right, everybody, hands up, clapping.
Thanks, Vasu, again. I think we can stop the videos. I will sort of wrap up the things and I will conclude. We can stop the videos now. Now, having decided to produce music, present it in a way the audience want to hear. Now comes the most important thing, the money matters, okay? Now, who is going to pay for what? Running a band, it incurs cost. To maintain rehearsal, to hire a sound engineer, we will talk about sound engineer, transporting the equipments, especially transporting equipment is extremely challenging. Yesterday, the gig finished at about 11 o'clock, but by the time we packed everything and brought back, it was almost 12:30. They are all heavy equipments, which remains one of the time when we were having a gig in Symphony Orchestra Hall in Birmingham. The same day, I don't have any disrespect to the runners, but they chose to have the half marathon, Birmingham half marathon on the same day. So all our cars were stopped in the inner ring road. So we had to block the, put the car somewhere and carry all the instruments to the symphony hall. So the runners were running and they were sweating, and we were not running, we were also sweating, especially carrying bulky equipments, the keyboards and the drums. It is not a joke. So if you are planning to start learning music, I will actually encourage you to learn something like a flute or something like a mouth organ, which is easy to carry than heavy keyboard equipments. Now, when you decide to have a band, it will incur cost. There is a saying, there is a popular joke. What is the difference between a 14-inch pizza and a musician? You can feed a family with the pizza, but you can't feed a family with the music unless and until you are Elton John or someone fairly big. It is going to drain some money. So we do perform charity functions in charity events, but even when a program is totally free, it will not be totally free, because there will be some background money, there will be some basic money because of all the equipments and transferring, and more important for the sound engineer. Because most bandmates, we are all doctors, fortunately we can afford, we do this for passion. But although we have run many charity programs, in all honesty, the money we have spent to run that program, for the rehearsal, for the instruments, that is actually more than the money we generated out of the band. Perhaps that is one of the reasons. Interestingly, as per the statistics, the number of bands in the UK is currently slowly disappearing, especially the younger generation. Okay, the people in the modern generation, they are cleverer, obviously, and they want to make music in isolation, not in a band, because of technology, because culture is shaped by technology. Previously, band was all about having friends, meeting in a room to make noise, to make fun. But now, music is done in closed rooms, in isolation, with apps. If you inspire to become a musician in a band, you have a choice: either have a group of friends and have fun, or download an app. For example, the Garage Band app in iPad. That is a different way of having fun. Again, there's nothing right, nothing wrong. It is individual choice. Personally, I belong to the generation where meeting in a room and having fun is more, it's more interesting. Okay. Now, this particular video we will play. This is to show the importance of a sound engineer, because the sound engineer is a person who actually links the art and music. How much ever money you spend, how much ever hours you spend in preparing, if the sound engineer lets you down on the day, the entire program will be a waste. This is just to show a small clip on the things that happen, the chaos that happens before the actual performance. Can you please play? So that is Graham, our sound engineer.
Yeah, go on. Grab the mic.
That'll just get fairly near the mic.
Okay. So no more videos. You can close everything now.
You've got time for one more video if you want.
No. I'm okay. I want to wrap it up. No problems, because that is just to show how much work goes behind the scene for the performance. In fact, a good sound engineer should be good enough to actually annoy us, to get the actual pitch, the actual tone. And depending upon whether the people are eating, they are not eating, whether they are standing, they are sitting, the humidity, the ambience. So they have to do the sound mixing to get the perfect sound. It's a very big task. So if you want to have a successful band, you need to have a very competent sound engineer, but they are very pricey. So I was telling about running a charity show. Even when it is a charity show, you need to have a sound engineer for which you may have to spend many £100s to get the good quality sound. Now, everything is set. The band is still incomplete. When will it become complete? When you have audience. Do people come to your show exclusively to listen to the music, or do they come to see you? The honest answer is they come to see you, to see the band, not to listen to the music. Because if they want to listen to the music, they can do that with their YouTube. They can do that with the MP3 player. They come there for a package of experience. I will quickly tell something. Joshua Bell, he's a renowned violinist. Okay, he conducted a social experiment with Washington Post in Boston. What they did was, he was playing in a symphony orchestra hall, and all the tickets sold out. The cheapest ticket was $100. Then he had this doubt: are people coming for the sake of the hall, or are the people coming for the sake of violin? So 2 days later, he did the same performance in the entrance of the tube station, and many thousand people passed by. He earned about $60. He earned about $60 in coins. There was one $20 note, and that was given by his friend, because he recognized this Joshua Bell playing outside the station. And he told, I know one day you will come to the street, and that is the day today. So he put $20. That is to show people don't come just for the music, but they come for the experience. They come for the affection. And as the great SP Balasubramaniam says, without audience and their appreciation, the band is incomplete. In conclusion, Rise, thanks a lot. Music classes teaches you how to do something, but a band teaches you how to be somebody. The things you learn in the band, especially the discipline, the work ethic, the teamwork, compensating for other people's problem, it is something you use in every day for the rest of your life. When you are in a band, you will hear music differently. You will appreciate music in a very different way. As they commonly say, when you are happy, you will love the tune. When you feel low, you will understand the lyrics. Okay, so if you want to appreciate the music in a whole different way, you can be in a band. So go for it, start a band, encourage your children to be in a band. You will rock. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Shyam. That was a very, very, very interesting talk, thought-provoking. I think it would have been educative for many of us. There are a few questions, I'll come to that, but congratulations on the nice talk. Sorry about the technical default in between. I'm sorry for that from our behalf. But
this happens in a band as well. You know, this happens in the band as well. You prepare well, you go there, and all of a sudden the sound mixing or something will let you down. In a way, I'm very glad it happened, because this gives a real taster session of how a band will be on the stage. There will be problems.
You made it very, very entertaining with all the stories and all your experiences. Thank you. So I think there are some appreciation from Prem has written. I think it is fascinating to learn how you have brought together so many people. And it is great. And he has commented about like music unites all the genres, like languages, communities, culture. I think that's a valid point, Prem. Thank you. And he's asking, how do you spend time? How much time do you take to learn and perform a song? How do you manage with your busy schedule? I think you touched it, but that's the problem with all of us. How do you unite people, and how do you manage the time?
It has to happen. It has to happen. There is no one formula. It is a commitment. It is a commitment. Generally, say, for example, when we say 15th October, we have to meet. Don't find excuses for not to come. So that is a commitment. I don't think I can give you a definite formula or this is the way we do. It's a commitment you are putting. The same way when our children have a school show, when our children have a program, we make it a point to take them to the program. The same commitment should be there for yourself. You should love yourself to be in a band.
I know leading a band, there will be somebody who, one of the team members, it's a big team. So if they don't come along with you, how do you make the gum? Do you use a carrot or a stick?
you can neither use carrot nor use because if you start using that, then the concept of band is gone. The chemistry is more important, and we always have, as we say in anesthesia, in medicine, we always have a plan B. A typical example is yesterday our bass guitarist couldn't come because of a minor accident. So when we prepare, perhaps that comes with experience and maturity. We always have a plan B on how to run a show if one person is missing, if something didn't happen. So I had to use my second keyboard as the bass guitar yesterday. So we have subtle plans on how to manage things, and also don't put all the eggs in one basket and don't have one vocalist. They may get COVID that day, they can't sing that day, they may have a sore throat. So always have a plan B. What happens if somebody can't sing? What happens if a guitarist can't come? There are some vital people, say for example, if the drummer doesn't come, everything will fall flat. But most of the time we will have a plan B that applies for the rehearsal sessions as well. If somebody is not coming, we will assume that person may not come for the actual program as well. How are we going to do that? So it is all about team building, and it is also all about planning. That's it.
Thank you. I think this is a question for Shobana rather than you. How does your family tolerate you?
Yeah, behind every successful man, there is a surprised wife. She says, stop playing piano because even that has feeling you are hitting too hard. Yeah, you need to have a very supportive family because there is competing interest. There are children, they are ambitious, they want to do games, they want to do university, they want to do music, and you are competing. And whatever Satin said, once you pass beyond the age, you become a second-class citizen within your own house. So you need to have a very supportive family who should hone your interest and support. In that way, I'm very grateful for my family, for supporting me. They keep me going. They encourage me.
Thank you. How do you encourage younger generation to form a band?
Do it. That's it. As I told you, if you want to be a good doing solo recording at home, easy. That is the easiest one. Doing karaoke, easiest one. Playing with one instrument, easiest one. But if you want to be a part of the community, if you want to actually explore real fun, do it in a band. In fact, the other video I was about to play, it is just to show how we do behind the scenes in our home when we practice, the laughter and the jokes. Because of the time constraint, I didn't want to play it. However, as I told, GarageBand, all these apps, they are all very beautiful. They give you fine, high quality music. But if you want to have real fun, it's the same different, it's a different, same analogy is playing football. Playing cricket in a ground on a sunny day is totally different from playing PlayStation at home. Okay, this is a different type of fun. But I believe in going to the ground and playing it with friends on a sunny day. Band is like that. It is a totally different thing. It gives a different dimension to the music.
Well said, Shyam. One last question. One of our team members has asked, I'm a part of a band called Legend Singers. This is one of the famous band in Leicester. What is the procedure to join your group? He has asked.
Sure, we will meet. The same way Bollywood Therapy evolved. For example, Jagdish, we were registrars together for 5 years. We never spoke about music. One day he came to my house to collect a book. He saw the keyboard. Then he asked me to play. I played, he sang, it clicked. So certain things, it has to happen random in a zigzag manner. I'm sure there will be a day we will plan, we will meet. And if the chemistry clicks, we will all be bandmates.
I think we can keep hearing you all day, Shyam, but with the lack of time, we're going to stop here. But obviously, thank you very much for coming to Rise and supporting our event. Thank you.
Thanks.
Meanwhile, audience, keep donating. There is a Just Giving page. We will keep putting the link there. Thank you, everyone. And I'm going to hand over to Dr. Sridhar Arani now. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I think I thoroughly enjoyed Bollywood Therapy by Shyam. And Shyam, don't be surprised that you may get some personal messages from our legend singers who are based locally. Good morning to everyone watching this webinar on Zoom as well as on YouTube. Fantastic work done by the Rise team. Doing webinar itself is difficult, and doing it for us webinar it's not an easy task, and I think they've been very, very successful in doing this for a good charity. Those who have not donated, please contribute as much as you can. And our next speaker, who's going to talk to us about a long COVID syndrome, he doesn't need any introduction. It's my absolute privilege and pleasure to introduce the next speaker. Although Vasu didn't want me to sort of say too much about his achievements. I'll be doing an absolute injustice to all the achievements Vasu had over the number of years. Vasu is a consultant in chronic pain management, working in NHS the last 16 years. He was elected to the National British Pain Society, sat in the council for 6 years, a huge achievement. He was the chief editor of the publication Pain News for 3 years. And also he is the editor and author of the 5 medical textbooks. Publishing even an article is a huge task, and editing 5 medical textbooks is not an easy one. There's a list actually, CRQs in anesthesia, chronic pain management, and also recently managing the long COVID syndrome, fibromyalgia, and also he's going to publish another one, the medical interviews, MMIs. I think most of you have contributed for that as well. And also he's the editor and author for the first international evidence-based book on long COVID syndrome. He's also won the National Grunenthal Prize for Pain Innovation 2016. And also he has been received excellent feedback from the Royal College of Anesthetists website as well. He's written hundreds of articles for chronic pain management, and also a few chapters in pain book. He's also author of a pain chapter in the Royal College of Surgeons course manual. And of course, Vasu has lectured in numerous meetings, fibromyalgia patient groups, and also he was a regular lecturer in the Faculty of Medicine in London. He was an invited lecturer for King's Fund Conference in Pain. That's a huge achievement. He's also represented the pain faculty in the first England Pain Summit, Westminster, London. As most of you know, he's a co-organizer for annual Diwali event for a number of years. And many of you know that he received the UHL Education Award for Excellence as a senior consultant category in 2019, and prior to that in the team category. And so he's going to talk to us about the concept. I think most of us, the context of this is that when we started this COVID pandemic back in February 2020, most of us were worried about the seriousness and also the mortality, that the deaths related to the COVID. But very fortunately, with the COVID vaccination, everything, that fear is gone. And in fact, I had, in spite of having 3 shots of the COVID vaccine, I had a COVID infection back during my December holidays during annual leave. Luckily, I recovered within 5 days. And also recently in the Easter holidays when I lost my 4 days, but bounced back quickly. But the worry for me as well, am I going to end up having a long COVID syndrome, which I see a lot of children as well. So to talk to us more about this, we've got an excellent speaker today, an author, editor, and a publisher, Vasu Tentulu. And I think we've got slightly less time for this. Sorry about that, Vasu. And please put your questions on the chat box. And if you've got any specific personal questions, I'm sure Vasu wouldn't mind if you can directly message him later on. Over to you, Vasu. Thank you.
Thank you, Sridhar Garu. Thank you very much for the kind introduction and generous words. First of all, let me thank Rice Foundation Leicestershire for offering me this slot to talk on this long COVID syndrome. And I also thank all the audience who have supported enormously by providing us all the generous donations. Thank you. I also want to thank one person and call Kavi, who's the brain behind the Rice 24 and Suresh here, to give a copy of our book, The Managing Long COVID Syndrome. So both of us can come next to me. And Kavi is the main person who is running the show with regards to Rice 24 and Suresh. And there is a big team behind who you will see later. Thank you very much. So this is the first book on long COVID syndrome. So that gives me the opportunity to talk about what is long COVID syndrome. So I'm sure you would have seen so much news about long COVID in the newspapers every day. There is a prediction that more than 2 million people are suffering due to long COVID syndrome. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. And as I said, long COVID is quite a new syndrome and we don't know much about it. We know a bit about COVID pandemic. COVID is, as Dr. Sridhar said, contagious disease caused by a respiratory virus called coronavirus 2. And initially it came from China, Wuhan province, and it spread all over the world. The acute disease causes lots of symptoms like fever, cough, breathing difficulties, tiredness, and smell and taste problems. We all know that. That comes and many people recover after the COVID and they become normal. But there is a 5 to 10% of the people who have persistent symptoms. This is what is called as long COVID syndrome. Long COVID is quite typical in that this was a disease which was discovered by patients themselves. Patients first came out with this. There was a tweet which I have shown on the right-hand side of the screen, if you can see that, the tweet by Elisa Perigo, who is not a doctor, but she was the one from Italy who said that there are symptoms which last more than 40 days after the disease. This is acutely in May 2020, in early stages of the disease. This tweet was the first tweet which used the term long COVID. And the tweet clearly said there is a lot that we don't know about this virus. This was acknowledged by the Royal College of General Practitioners a couple of months later and in a BBC interview. And since then, the term long COVID syndrome came. So it is a clear example of participatory medicine where patients have taken the effort to find the disease, lobby for the support for the disease, which many doctors still don't understand, and find the evidence with regards to this. Of course, things have moved a lot further from there. In the next half an hour, I'm going to talk about what are the problems that can last after COVID infection, what are the guidelines and how do we manage long COVID, and symptom management. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible because I know there are lots of people who are not from the medical background, but try to ask questions in the Q&A if you have any. I'll start with a few case reports of patients that I've seen in my real life practice. So this is a female who came with 18 months post-COVID, and this girl was still suffering with fever, difficulty breathing, pain, palpitations, which is feeling the own heartbeat. She has been to various consultants, various medical clinics without a proper diagnosis, had loads of investigations. She was still suffering with heart rate problems and presented to the pain clinic. So obviously she was very frustrated that she's been to so many clinics and still not had a reason for why she's having all these symptoms. Another patient, this patient came from the COVID rehab team, which is at Glenfield Hospital in Leicester. This patient, when the patient had acute symptoms in December 2020, had more than 5 symptoms. The reason I'm saying this specifically is if somebody has lots of symptoms like taste problems, heart problems, breathing problems, fever, more than 5 symptoms, they are more prone to get long COVID syndrome. She came with difficulty in breathing, dysfunctional breathing, what we say in medical terms, like abnormal breathing patterns. And also the pain and the breathing problems was affecting her mental status. So she presented to the pain clinic. So this is a different patient. Patients can present in still different ways. I'm going to give a few more examples. So this patient was not having long COVID, but had a COVID and then was recovering and because of the cardiac problems, this elderly patient was in a wheelchair and couldn't have an orthopedic operation because the symptoms got worse and presented to my clinic. One more patient referred by a rheumatologist. They have ruled out all the diagnoses with doing blood tests. This patient had a mild infection only. There was no need for even hospitalization when the patient had a COVID in December 2020, but she presented with severe pain, which was lasting even 14 months after the infection. And she had to be referred to the pain clinic. The last example I'm giving is similar, another patient referred by a rheumatologist. Nearly a year after the COVID infection, patient was still feeling tired, losing energy, exhausted, and referred to the pain clinic. So obviously, patients come with various symptoms which we don't understand. And some doctors as well as people question, is there a long COVID syndrome? Is it real? So to answer that question, if you go to the social media, you will see there are loads of patients who are having lots of symptoms despite all the diagnostic tests. This is real. Patients do suffer. These have been patients who have been perfectly fine before the COVID infection and have suffered with all these symptoms after this. So I'm going to try and see whether I can play this video. Kavi, can you help me with the video, please? There is a small video which is by the patient. It's only for 2 minutes. And let's see if it comes with the volume. If it doesn't, I'll go on to the next slide. This is a YouTube video, message in a bottle, and this is easily available. And this is the plight of the patients who have suffered with the pain. Let's see whether we can get the audio. And this will run for 1.5 minutes, I'll tell you. And this clearly tells the plight of the patients who suffer with this.
We're all members of a club no one wanted to join. Different backgrounds, ages, experiences. Thousands and thousands of us have been struggling for weeks and months with ongoing symptoms of COVID-19. These are some common symptoms, but there are many more. Some of us have been ill throughout, with others having relapses. We're still very ill. We're feeling pressure to return to work, to care for families and get back to normal, when we still feel anything but. No one seems to be able to answer our questions or give reassurance. Will we ever get better? Will there be long-term repercussions for our physical and mental health? Is this post-viral fatigue, or are we still infectious? Will I be able to do the things that make me happy again? Can we hug our loved ones, or will we make them sick? Is this damage irreversible? Am I going to die? We just don't know, so we're sending out an SOS. Each of us has our own journey, but lots of us are feeling abandoned, dismissed, brushed off, ignored, and given conflicting advice. It can be hard for those around us to understand how ill we are. It's confusing and scary. Our numbers are growing and we need to be taken seriously. We need rehab, research, and recognition. We need to be believed, helped, treated with compassion, and supported by those around us. Please hear our SOS.
Thank you, Kavi. You can put the slides back on. So if you can see this video came more than a year ago. And
the only way to do it is to
we didn't
automate
use
it.
much.
What Zapier allows us to do is connect to our customers'
Sorry for the
Shopify
interrupt.
store, WooCommerce store, CRM systems, whatever it might be.
Just a minute. Sorry for that. Yeah. So the video came more than a year ago. And at that time, there was a need for recognition of the disease and looking at what we can do to help them. And unfortunately, even after a year and even nearly 2 years since the COVID had come, we still don't understand this disease much and we are struggling. But there is a bit of scientific evidence, which I'm going to show to prove that long COVID is real. This is a real disease. We need to take it seriously, and what needs to be done and what is the healthcare system doing with regards to this. So I'm going to talk about this in the next few slides. So long COVID syndrome is a disease which affects people who had COVID. 1 in 5 to 1 in 10 who had COVID infection can go on to develop symptoms which last long. Most of them would have had hospitalization with severe disease, but there is no need. Even patients who had minor infections can develop long COVID. Patients can present with tiredness, headaches, and exhaustion, mood problems, even many months after the disease. World Health Organization has recognized that this is going to be a serious problem. This is a list of symptoms that can last many, many days, weeks, or months after COVID. This is for an Italian study. I'm not going to go into each and everything, but there are more than 200 symptoms that can happen and last after COVID, presenting with a long COVID syndrome. It could range from simple breathing problems to more complex heart rate problems, taste problems, weakness, pain. I'm not going to go into each and everything, but long COVID can affect each and every system that we can think of. What causes long COVID? So there are a variety of reasons why long COVID can happen, and these are all postulated because nothing is still proven. I'll start with the top one, causing inflammatory causes. When COVID happens, there are chemicals which change the inflammatory system in the body. In some patients, it has been found that these last very, very long, even after the COVID has settled. This can cause damage to the lung, and that could be the reason for long-term breathing problem in these patients. The next reason is patients who stay in intensive care unit. They always suffer with some amount of weakness and nerve problems after the intensive care stay. This has been proven not just in COVID, but in other diseases also. Added to that, the blood vessels change in these patients, and that could be the reason why the heart rate and blood pressure could change. There are other theories saying that there could be some changes in the nutritional factors, energy depleting factors, persistent viral particles still in the bloodstream. So all these reasons could cause for symptoms that last for a long time, presenting with long COVID syndrome. It's not just the physical thing. Long COVID is an economic problem. Financial Times presented last May with this article saying a term, long economic COVID. With the COVID, just in United Kingdom alone, the GDP has fallen by 10%. Think about the healthcare cost as well as the cost related to the chronicity of this disease. It is definitely going to cause more problems to the economic status in the future. It's assumed that even just the healthcare cost that has been deferred, delayed healthcare in America would cost around $65 billion. So UK Parliament has assessed that just in our country, it would be 2.5 billion per year pounds of cost due to COVID, long COVID persistence. So it is a big problem. So the government has acted, producing some guidelines. So I'm going to talk a bit about how to diagnose this disease in this. I'll try to keep it as simple as possible, and then I'll proceed to management plan. So the National Health Service in United Kingdom brought out a plan, 5-point plan in October 2020, and proceeded to give more directions in June 2021 regarding how to manage. So there is a very good plan, and United Kingdom led the whole of the world with regards to producing protocols, evidence-based guidelines. That is where we started with regards to the management. And in United Kingdom, NICE, or National Institute of Health and Care Excellence, produces guidelines. So they came with a guideline as early as December 2020 regarding how to diagnose long COVID syndrome. So they came with this classification saying acute COVID is when a patient has a symptom up to 4 weeks. Ongoing is symptoms from 4 to 12 weeks. But post-COVID is something when the symptoms last more than 12 weeks. They don't need to have a blood test to prove it. But if they have had a COVID infection followed by symptoms that last more than 12 weeks, is post-COVID. But if they had more than 4 weeks, that is called as long COVID syndrome. So that is how long COVID is diagnosed. So this is just a simple bar chart to show that if it is more than 4 to 12 weeks and its symptoms persist, it's called as long COVID syndrome. So we know the criteria for how to diagnose this. Now, how to manage this condition. I'm sure somebody you know would be suffering with symptoms after the COVID infection, which is lasting long. So how can we manage these patients? The main thing is to look at how to self-manage. Basically, symptomatic management for each and every symptoms. Hospitals do offer like a multidisciplinary teamwork to look at these patients. The aim is to go slow and look at phased return back to education or work, depending on the person. And they need follow-up. How do we do that? So I'm sorry, the slide has not come out very well, but what it shows is the tier 1 is the patient who manage very well. I'm happy with the slide, don't worry, yeah. So most of the patients would be managing themselves very well and they recover back. It might take time. It might need more phased approach, going slowly and getting back to the normal life, but they do recover. Tier 2 is around 15 to 20% of the population. This is where they need simple therapies in the community. They might need like breathing support with a physiotherapist who's trained in respiratory management. They might need some simple painkillers. This could be managed by the family doctor or a general practitioner in this country, giving some simple treatment. So that's a small chunk. And there is another small chunk, like around 30% of the population, where the symptoms last for a long, long time and they need referral to the right service. It could be a COVID rehab service, pain clinic, cardiology service, or a respiratory clinic. So they need like a hospital care. So I'm going to go to how to manage the long COVID syndrome. So in chronic conditions, always we look at something called as a biopsychosocial model. This is valid in most of the chronic diseases. What a doctor can do, a healthcare professional can do, is a small part, looking at the biological part of controlling the disease. there is a huge amount of psychological factors. Whenever we have an illness, it causes irrational fear among ourselves. And the fear can be a stumbling block to recover from the condition. So most of the services nowadays, the modern medicine has evolved to look at what impact a disease has on a patient, on their mood, on their emotions, how they cope with the condition. The other bigger part is a social part, how they integrate back. If it was a child, how to get them back to the school. If it was an adult, how to get them back to the family, how to get them back to the work. So looking at the disease, just at looking at illness alone is not going to help. We need to look at a bigger picture. This is more valid in terms of long COVID syndrome. So breathing and tiredness, I think the best thing is to take it slowly and pacing. Pacing is something where you do something at limited allotments till you get the symptom and slowly try to build it up in a progressive way. So the aim is to start slow. The reason is in these patients, when they do too much, they get tired and it is very difficult for them to recover after the condition. So this is what we call as a post-exertional malaise, doing some activity and getting worse, and they go downhill. Rather than that, you have to do at a small allotment where you are comfortable and slowly build it up. Otherwise, this goes into a boom and bust cycle where they do too much and suffer, and then after a long gap, they try to do something again and get tired. Rather, you have to pace it slowly and go up. And if you go to a right physiotherapist, they can help you with the right approach to look into pacing strategies. There are lots of breathing exercises. Obviously, pranayama, yoga therapy, all these things come with breathing exercises. The simplest way is to look at a rectangular window, for example, breathe in for a short while and breathe out for a longer time. There are techniques like pursed lip breathing. So these are simple techniques. So what the aim is to have the expiratory, the breathing out time longer than the inspiratory time, the breathing in time. There are free apps like the American app called Breathe to Relax that I commonly use. They have very good scientific basis behind this. So once you get the breathing pattern to normal, half the problem is solved. Most of the people try to do this when they have acute symptoms. It doesn't work. You need to start doing it when you are free and relaxed so that when you have a flare-up, you can use these symptoms. Flare-up in the sense it could be breathing problem or pain problem. Long COVID can affect the mood significantly. So be kind to yourself. Don't blame yourself. I think people around you might not understand the disease, but it is your duty to be kind to yourself and try to keep active with your social life. I know it might be difficult when patients have weakness and symptoms, but to engage back and trying to keep pacing with their social life also is very important with regards to recovery. There are loads of other problems. Due to lack of time, I'm not going to go into each and everything, but long COVID can affect memory. So try to be kind to yourself again. Yes, forgetfulness is a common thing, but keeping a diary, making your surrounding friends and family know that there is a memory problem and acting according to that will be very helpful. Sleep problems. When you have sleep problems, disruption, like sleeping late at night, sleeping in the daytime, these can affect the body's rhythm of the hormonal status. This is what we call a circadian rhythm, and that can lead to more pain and tiredness. Blood pressure drop can happen in these patients. Drinking lots of fluid and keeping themselves hydrated is important. Some patients can also present with persistent nausea, taste problems, nutritional problems, and fever. We do manage that depending on the symptoms. Pain is the most important thing. Chronic pain can be disabling. And in long COVID syndrome, chronic pain is a known condition. Patients can persist with pain even after the disease has recovered. Keeping active with simple exercises, stretching, yoga, Tai Chi, mindfulness can do a big role in recovery of these patients. But the main thing we need to remember is keeping active doesn't mean doing too much at a time, because that leads to, as I said earlier, post-exertional tiredness or malaise. So we need to keep in mind that our activities are limited, do slowly and build up gradually, and you will come back to normal. Obviously, we use various other treatments in the hospital, including physiotherapy, simple treatments like acupuncture, TENS machine. So if your friend or somebody near you is suffering with long COVID, ask them to get referred to the nearest therapist who can help you with these sort of treatments. There are COVID rehab centers in many parts of the country. pain clinics can help with long-term pain and tiredness in these conditions. The role of painkiller medications are very, very limited. They can do more harm and we need to be careful. However, consult your local family doctor or your specialist clinics and they can help you to look into that, but the role is quite limited. Obviously, when you go to a specialist clinic, like a pain clinic in our clinic, we do have lots of other therapies for adults. These are based on research and they are not yet proven, but we use that based on extrapolated evidence from other treatments. We do sometimes infusions with some chemicals called lignocaine. As I said earlier, I'm sorry for the busy medical slide I have put here, but there are chemicals which cause persistent symptoms, and simple treatments with infusions that we do in the pain clinic can control this. I can talk on this slide later if anybody has a query, but I will proceed to the next slide to avoid lots of medical jargons here. We do lots of injections to help with the pain, like nerve block injections for headaches, like occipital nerve blocks, peripheral nerve block. We even do some injections with Botox. I know Botox many people use for cosmetic reasons, but in pain clinic and neurology clinic, we use for totally different reasons to help with the pain pathway. As well as wherever you have pain, we can do injections. Pain clinics have a role in that. I'm nearly coming to the end, recognizing the limitation of the time. So I'll go back to the case reports that I discussed and tell you what happened with them. This was this young lady who had gone to multiple clinics and persistent symptoms. So this was like symptoms which are persisting even after 18 months after the infection. So what we did was we educated that this is a real condition. That is the main step to help patients in recovery, and asked to be kind to themselves, reassured that this will settle, but it will take time. We gave some simple treatments like acupuncture, educated about pacing and coping, and she was able to manage the symptoms. The second patient I said was the patient who had lots of symptoms and suffered with severe breathing problems affecting mental status. We did some injections, acupuncture, taught how to breathe properly with the breathing strategies and pacing, and the patient was able to manage well. I wouldn't say she got back to full normal, but at least she was able to manage the condition and is in the pathway to recovery now. The third patient who was not able to have a shoulder surgery because in a wheelchair with COVID, we did some nerve injections and the pain settled and the patient had a better quality of life after this. Obviously, we also used complementary therapies like acupuncture. The next patient referred by rheumatologist with persistent chronic pain, like long-term pain. Again, we did the infusion therapy that I said, the lignocaine infusion, and referred to a program for rehabilitation, what we call as a pain management program. Obviously, these strategies are available, but healthcare system has pressure with the waiting list and resources, I do realize. The last patient who was feeling tiredness, the basic thing is we educated with regards to, yes, the tiredness is a real condition and how to manage. And again, patient had some injections and recovered. I know this is a very, very quick whistle stop tour. I know the time is limited, but I would like more discussions rather than me talking all the while. Meanwhile, keep donating to Rice Charity. Obviously, all the proceeds, what you have donated, go for charitable causes. Lots of volunteers have worked behind the screen to make this day happen. We have had interesting talks for the last 24 hours. So help us to help others. Sharing is caring. So the Just Giving link will be put on the chat section. So please donate. We'll make sure that all the money goes to needed causes. I'll take this opportunity to advertise another of our interventions that we use, the mini medical interview day. So this is a course for A-level students, like year 13 students, basically, who want to go into medical school. We do offer interview practices. The next course, Kavi is leading the course on 5th and 12th of November. We have 4 sessions, half-a-day sessions. Last year it was overbooked and we couldn't give spaces for everyone. So we have tried to increase the spaces, make it half-a-day jam-packed and do that. So if you have somebody who is in A-level, who is interested in medicine, direct them to us. It is available on the website if you need, a RICE website, ricefoundationuk.com website. If you go there, if you click MMI, we can help you with that. I'm going to stop here and take a few questions and ask Dr. Sridhar Arari to take over now. Thank you very much for all your help, and thank you very much, Rice. Yeah.
Thanks, Vasu. Thanks for the excellent insight into the long COVID syndrome. And I think this is a very complicated topic, but all the credit to you sort of gathering evidence and evidence-based management of long COVID syndrome. This is something that is this thing. We've got a couple of questions actually. One is from the Hema. The question is, she's been obviously done a fantastic job hosting a number of hours doing this thing. And her question is, does Leicester have a pediatric long COVID clinic? So I can answer that question, so you can add upon to that. Yes, Hema, we have a long COVID, pediatric long COVID clinic in Leicester, and this is led by Dr. Srini Bandy, who's a consultant pediatrician with an interest in infectious diseases. And I think this has started almost 4 to 6 months ago. This is like, as Vas was pointing out, run by a clinician, and also they have a physio, occupational therapist, and a psychologist. So there's not a significant amount of wait. There's a 3 months wait. So in case if you got any patients in your hospital, these patients can be referred to the multidisciplinary pediatric long COVID clinic. And I think Vasu has got plenty of experience in managing chronic pediatric pain patients in Leicester for many, many years. And it's a sort of a similar sort of biopsychosocial model in managing these patients. Vasu, anything you want to add on that?
Thank you, Sridhar Garu, but I have to convey my apologies. I don't do any pediatric pain now. It is my colleague, Dr. Kodiwala Saha, who does. He's a very, very experienced person also, so he will be the best person to help. Obviously, chronic pain is a very big condition. Not many doctors understand themselves. And I didn't know about the post-COVID clinic. Thanks for creating awareness, Dr. Sridhar Garu. And as I said, Dr. Sridhar Garu does an excellent service running a pediatric rheumatology clinic in Leicester. And they see huge amount of patients with multiple problems. And there is a chronic pain clinic also for children, but we have a long waiting list. I do only adults now, but thanks for directing us, Sridhar Garu. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the second question comes from Prem actually. How common is long COVID in children? And looking at from your data, also have you picked up any data coming from UK or straight out from China as to what is the data? Anything at all?
Yeah. I think in our book, we wrote a chapter on pediatric pain also in long COVID, and we written few chapters with regards to symptoms. Initially, when the long COVID came, they thought it didn't affect the children. And that was a false myth. And that was spread based on initial research, which came from Europe, I think. But later on, all the research said that long COVID is a syndrome that can affect children also. So as I said, the NHS, when they came up with the initial guideline, they didn't point anything about pediatric care. But when they updated to a 10-point guideline in June 2021, they gave money and they produced funding to look at 15 long COVID children's clinic. That is where, as Dr. Sridhar Garu said, the resource has come. And this is when the whole resource increased to £100 million, but that is also not enough now. So obviously, yes, it does affect. And obviously, incidence is varied between 3 to 12%. That's what it says. But you can quote any paper. But the summary is, yes, it does affect children. And because children don't express it and children do get other symptoms, we can get distracted. But long COVID can affect the children. It can affect the day-to-day school life. And it is important that we look at ways to integrate them back to their school life, which can help with the recovery. I hope that answers the question, Sridhar.
Yeah, thanks, Vasu. Thanks, Vasu. Just to add up to that, I think the UK Office for National Statistics published some data. I think this is almost 6 months ago. Almost 13% of UK children aged between 2 and 11, and 14.5% of children between 12 and 16 still have symptoms almost 6 weeks post-COVID. And what we see is the tip of the iceberg. And they feel that there's a nice publication by Helen Thompson, the National Institute of Health, which I think there is more emerging data. And as general pediatricians, we are seeing more and more patients coming to our clinics. And also as a pediatric rheumatologist, I get referred a lot of patients as non-specific joint pains with a chronic fatigue syndrome. So what we know from children is the tip of the iceberg. And I think more will emerge, because many of these patients, the symptoms cruise through the acute infection without any significant problems, but it's the long COVID that can be a huge issue. I think space to watch out. That is Prem's question, but yeah, Prem, I don't have the exact specific data as we speak, but definitely the numbers are increasing. Yeah. We got one more question, Vasu, from Hema. So we had the post-viral chronic fatigue syndrome for a long time. And now you're looking at the spectrum of the long COVID syndrome. Is it similar to the chronic fatigue syndrome, which are all familiar to for many years, and why suddenly the long COVID seems to have emerged as a major blockbuster?
Yeah, I think there are studies which have compared long COVID with the SARS syndrome after SARS infection, the MERS, the Middle East Respiratory Syndrome infections. Obviously, we had lots of these sort of problems in India when chikungunya virus affected. So obviously, all viral infections can cause persisting symptoms. Why special attention to long COVID? It's a very, very valid question, Hema. I totally agree with you. The problem is long COVID affects in a wide variety of ways, and it can persist longer, and it is not recognized. And as I showed in the video, there are a huge number of patients who are not believed, to be honest. And we all take it for common. Yes, you have weakness. It could be something related. It could be psychological. It could be rheumatological. It could be something else. But the problem is to look in a biopsychosocial model. Yes, the symptoms are there. How to get back this child or this person or this adult back to their active life. And it is a real syndrome. And we might not understand it fully. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And that is why there are more voice coming for long COVID. And as I said earlier, the initial support and lobbying came from the patients themselves. They had to shout to show that there is a disease that is affecting them. And now we have started to recognize it. I'm sure in more research, more evidence will prove this condition and will help to generate more. Our textbook was the first one with the guidelines, but I'm sure many more guidelines will come and many more guidances will come. But the reason why long COVID, in summary, the answer is the reason why long COVID has more attention is because it affects the patients as a whole, it affects the society as a whole, it can affect the economy. And there are more people affected who need more attention and more resources in the healthcare. I hope that answers the question. Thank you, Sridhar.
Yeah, thanks, Vasu. I think we've got a nice compliments from Satya Francis, Krishna Pabaraj, and also Rupa Sundaram. Question from Satya is, the concept of, is there any data on patients presenting with symptoms of postural hypertension in long COVID syndrome? Yes.
There are papers which have looked very, very carefully at this, and there is a definite instance of postural hypertension. I did go into much details about it. Yes, we have seen patients who present with postural hypertension in our pain clinic, and there are things we can do to manage the postural hypertension with medications, steroid medications to support the blood pressure, fluid attention. But as I said, it is a known condition. It is a proven condition. I have seen myself a handful of patients who have postural hypertension in my clinic. Basic thing is to hydrate them well. And obviously, some of our interventions might not be applicable because we need to be wary of the side effects due to postural hypertension. So yes, we have come across patients. We have quite a few patients who have postural hypertension, but Glenfield COVID unit has seen quite lots of patients. I can assure you that.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think we tend to see a lot of patients as well. I have a lot of patients who present with the postural hypertension manifesting with the dizziness and foggy, this thing associated with the palpitations, the so-called the POT syndrome, similar sort of clinical spectrum. So I've seen that in a number of children with the long COVID syndrome. Yeah. Another question from Krishna Pabaraju, and I think probably Rupa is also asking the similar sort of this thing. Now, is there any sort of clinical bias when it comes to the long COVID, particularly are there any particular phenotype of patients with psychological issues and rheumatological conditions, or any particular group, for example, the ethnic group of patients who are more susceptible to long COVID syndrome? So I've just mixed up the both sort of questions for you to answer.
Yeah. Thanks, Krishna, and thanks, Rupa. That's a very, very interesting question. There are lots of research going on even in Leicester with regards to this. Yes, there are some genotypes which are susceptible. You are perfectly right in saying that, Sridhar. Patients who had ACE2 inhibitor, the angiotensin converting enzyme, we say that is the enzyme where the virus enters into the cell. So there are some genotypes, and it is claimed that they are more proven. There are papers which have shown the incidence to that, but it's not fully proven. Are psychological patients more susceptible? It's a very difficult question to answer. But obviously, yes, they are high-risk patients because they already suffer with mental illness and they can be more prone, and we have to believe them. Rheumatological patients, yes, we are seeing more referrals for rheumatological patients, but no studies have proven that one particular disease, they are more prone. And as I said, we get referrals, quite lots of referrals for rheumatology clinic with regards to long COVID, but more patients come from cardiology than rheumatology with regards to patients who have had cardiac symptoms and being referred. Papers have not shown a particular link to any particular disease. But obviously, as we see in chronic pain conditions, many rheumatological conditions can cause chronic pain, and long COVID could be like that. I don't know, but the research has not proven yet. But there could be a link, I assume. And to be honest, what are the predisposing factors? I've written a chapter in the book on predisposing factors. The commonest thing, there are like apps which have looked at risk factors, and they have classified and they have put various scores for various conditions and looking at who can get long COVID. But obviously, these are all like research-based tools, and they have not still come into use. But patients, the commonest thing what we see is patients who have had more than 5 symptoms, acute symptoms, have high risk. Patients who have been in intensive care unit have got high risk of developing long COVID. Apart from that, other things have not yet been proven. There are individual papers who have proven like asthma patients can get, obese patients can get, but they have not yet been proven with a rigorous evidence-based research. So it's very difficult to prove. But as I said, the very good question by Krishna, I would agree. There are like these sort of factors which are confounding. But if a patient has long COVID, we have to believe them and look at how to manage rather than thinking like background factors. Obviously, they might be there confounding, but obviously these patients have the long COVID and we need to look at how to manage.
Thanks. Also, I got a quick question from Shiva Subramaniam. Now, your experience in managing long COVID in patients who already got a pre-existing fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. That's a very interesting question. And also, we got a question from Anu Sridhar. Are there any dental problems or oral problems associated with long COVID syndrome? So you can pick up both the questions, Pastor.
Very, very interesting questions. First, I'll come to Siva's question. Yeah, definitely. Patients who have fibromyalgia, I think he is asking from a fibromyalgia aspect, they are more difficult to manage. I do agree. But on the other hand, these are the patients who have already suffered with so much pain and gone through so much revolving door phenomena of seeing so many consultants, and then they present with added pressure of long COVID syndrome. It's very difficult. We feel sorry for them. And chronic fatigue patients, again, like myalgic encephalomyelitis, these patients, if they get long COVID, it can be quite a downhill course very, very quickly. These patients will need interventions, and we do lots of therapies in the pain clinic. When a rheumatologist refers, we look at that. Yes, they have background condition, but how to help them quickly, looking at infusion therapies, injection therapies, and help them. Coming to Anu's question, that's a very interesting question, asking about dental and oral problems. Yes, there are papers which have shown that they can get like oral cavity problems. Obviously, we clearly know that loss of taste and loss of smell sense can persist even up to 18 months after a COVID infection. There is very good reason for that, because the virus enters through the epithelium cell, the covering of the cell around the nose, olfactory epithelial cell. And if that gets damaged, they can have persistent smell and taste problems. I had COVID last year, and when I had COVID, I didn't have any symptoms at all. I was perfectly fine, but because of my contacts, I was asked to isolate. But in day 4, day 5, I started getting abnormal taste and smell, and that lasted for a few days. When that happens, you need to have like quick smell challenge exercise. If you go to a clinician, they will help you having various smells like pungent smells, eucalyptus oil smell, something like that. And if you go through that in the acute phase, that will settle quickly. Otherwise, they can last long. So lack of smell and lack of taste can lead to oral cavity problems. I think that might be the pathway I can explain rather than direct influence. I don't have much knowledge apart from that with regards to dental things. I'm sorry for that. But definitely there is incidence of problems with that. I hope that answers it, Sridhar.
Thanks, Vasu. I think I'm going to have take one more quick question. This is from Prem. He's asking about what's the difference in long COVID syndrome between ethnic groups versus Caucasians, especially when it came to the earlier on mortality was very high in the ethnic groups. So what's about the long COVID syndrome? Is it very high?
Thanks, Prem, for the question. I think with regards to the COVID infection, the ethnic minority BAME population, they have high risk and high incidence. That has been well proven. But the same has not been proven with long COVID yet. Maybe the reason is because the papers have not come out. I don't know. But I looked at the research, but there is not much proven evidence to say that ethnic minority can have high risk. That's not yet proven. But maybe they all had acute disease at that time. I don't know. But it has not been proven. But the one thing which has reduced the long COVID incidence is a successful vaccination program. There have been papers recently in BMJ. There was an article a few weeks ago. So vaccination has reduced the incidence. So vaccination has been a huge success, not just in preventing the morbidity, mortality of COVID itself, but the long COVID also has come down. And in the research has clearly shown in people who are vaccinated, even if they get long COVID, the symptoms are less and they could be managed easily. Thank you, Shiva. Thank you.
Vasu, quick question. I think I got another 30 seconds actually. This is my specific questions. You mentioned about the phenotype of patients who can get the long COVID. Are there any, from your data, are there any biomarkers that can predict the long COVID syndrome?
No.
And also when it comes to medications, is there any specific medications as we speak, we can prescribe it to the patients with long COVID?
No, I think there is no biomarker yet proven, but there are researches going on. Medication, there are a huge number of medications, starting from inflammatory mediator medications to various things, but none of them have yet been proven. But I'm very sure the research will prove them very soon. At Pain Clinic, we use like painkiller medications to modify, we use the infusions to modify the cytokine, the chemicals which transmit the inflammation. But the problem with long COVID syndrome is there is no proven medicine, but it is mainly symptomatic management at the present time as we speak. But I'm very sure things will change in the future, Sridhar Garu. Thank you very much.
Yeah, with that, I think we had to really thank you so much, Vasu. I think your session has generated so many questions and you've been able to answer so many questions. Obviously, we've got some unanswered questions as well. I'm sure you'll pick this up as we get more evidence. But on behalf of the whole team, we would like to thank you for an excellent session, excellent insight into long COVID syndrome. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for coming on a busy Sunday morning. I can understand. Thank you. But please donate to the RISE charity. Keep donating, and the link will be put on the chat section. Thanks for all your support to RISE. I'm going to hand over to our secretary of the RISE Foundation, Dr. Sridhar Tyagarajan, who is a consultant oncologist and the main pillar for the RISE Foundation, to give the concluding remarks. Thank you. And thank you, Sridhar Garu, also. Thank you.
Also, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome Sri, one of my colleagues working at the UHL, and I think he's going to be giving us all the details about the whole 24 hours webinar and also the amount of this thing. So all the work, great work done by this thing. And thank you, RISE team, for absolutely brilliant work in organizing this 24 hours webinar and also raising money for the charity. And those of you who have not had a chance to donate, please donate. Yeah. Thanks so much indeed. Hand over to you, Sri.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sridhar Garu. Thank you. Thank you. So I just want to thank you all for coming and attending this webinar. And that was a very fitting conclusion to what was another excellent program over 24 hours. I'm going to call all the other trustees to join me, because there is a lot of people behind the scenes who worked really hard to make this as a real success. So of course, we can't do this without you, the audience, because you sat through lots of difficult period and overnight, early hours of the morning. So I really thank you, all the audience. And of course, I want to sincerely thank all the moderators, all the coordinators and the speakers. They have worked so hard to get all this excellent program running, and they've been really sort of helpful in making this as a real success. And I want to thank all the trustees of the RISE Foundation. Some of us are here and some of them online. And so this is really sort of all the hard work which goes behind the scene to make this as a real success. All the tech which involved in running this as seamless as possible. All the sort of people who are awake overnight to make sure this runs without any problems. I sincerely want to thank all the trustees of the RISE Foundation. Of course, none of this would be possible without the support of our spouses and the children. So we need their support so that we can spend time and run this program as successfully as possible. But why do we do this? Because it's one thing about running a program and running over 24 hours. But the main reason for us to do this is so that we actually want to raise money for our charity, the RISE Foundation UK, so that we want to make people's lives better. Because none of this makes any sense if we just do this for the sake of doing something and doing the talk and learning about different things. But what is the end result? The end result is really we want to improve people's lives. And that's why all of us, including all our speakers, our moderators, our coordinators, spent a lot of time so that we could raise money for what is really a worthwhile cause. And actually, I'm really happy that and because of your generous donations, we actually raised more than what we intended to do. And I am sure, along with all of my trustee colleagues, we can reassure you every penny of this which we raise will go towards a good cause. And I'm really, really thankful for all your support doing this. And so, yeah, that will conclude our sessions. And I'm just sort of any other.
Thank you
from
very
our
much. Thank you all
trustees.
of you. And keep donating, and we'll see you in the next program from RISE. Yeah.
See you next year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Keep supporting.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all for all the hard work. Actually, a lot of hard work has gone into setting it up. So, heartfelt thanks to, everyone for all your hard work.
President?
Prem, do you want to say a word?
No, I just want to thank everyone, the audience, the moderators, speakers, and the trustees for being with us for the last 24 hours. And please continue to support us. Thanks for all your generous contributions. Thank you.